It's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and oh my gosh, where's my face? Mia. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode. Excuse me, of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, hot topics, pop culture, all the good stuff. So whatever's popping off in these here internet streets, we talk about it on this show. So before we get started, if you can do me a solid, hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And guess, child, I'm a mess today. Because it was like, as soon as I was ready to go live, I was like, wait a minute, I got like 5 minutes. I had to go run into the kitchen real quick. I was like, let me eat something. Because I have not eaten, I didn't eat any breakfast this morning. I didn't feel like cooking. So I just had me like a cup of coffee and that was good for like a couple hours. And then I was like, let me just go make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I had to like scarf that down real quick and then come in here and give y'all a show. Because I was like, we do these long behind shows. Sometimes I'll be like, ooh, I'm getting them stomach pains. I don't be eating or nothing. So, but look, today ain't gonna be a 5.5 hour show. Yesterday we did a 5.5, damn near 5.5 hour show, which I was like, okay, that's every hour on the days that I took off last week. Which was a total of 5 days. But we got a lot of tea to spill today. We're going to talk about Scream 7. We got some new Scream 7 news. We have some Diddy news in regarding with Cassie. Also, we got some Justin Combs news. We got some Ray J news. Apparently, he like his behind eating like a bag of groceries. We was going to talk about that yesterday. But I was at a point, I was like, first of all, it's too many damn topics we doing right now. And I was just like, we going to have to save this for tomorrow. But hold on, because I was like, let me pull that video up because I just realized I didn't have it open. But now we're back. Okay, so now, and then in addition to that, we got some Nick Cannon news, we got some Vanderpump Rule news, and Andy Cohen speaking out on Vanderpump Rules and the whole cash shakeup. We also have, speaking of shakeup, there may be some trouble in paradise between Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel. We got to talk about Serena Williams and these colorism, skin bleaching rumors and stuff that's floating around. She has addressed it. Plus, we got to talk about Whoopi Goldberg trying to shut down Alyssa Farah Griffin for basically calling out Joe Biden for lying about the pardoning of his son, Hunter. We're going to talk about that. Plus, we had some tea about Rosie O'Donnell's daughter 5 days after getting her ass of jail by her biological mother. Is back behind bars because she was caught with drug paraphernalia. So we're gonna talk about that. I told you I was team Rosie from the beginning. I said leave her ass there. That's the only way she's gonna learn. Shows that she and I was right. And biological mama didn't know best because if she did, she wouldn't have gave her damn daughter up for adoption from the beginning. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation for later on in the show. I don't want to go too into it. Plus, we have some sad news regarding Apollo Moon, the trans adult content creator. And we got to talk about this Dragula story, which we made some history in last night's show. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. So like I said before, if you have not already, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. It also helps with the algorithms. I'm already preparing myself because January is going to be a rough month in regards of like monetization of content. So December, I'm trying to push out as much as I can because that's when like the numbers truly come in. But January is always rough for a lot of us content creators. So please hit that bell and all that good stuff. And if you haven't already, I'm almost at 2K. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you are the little show that could, and you're independently run, as in I do everything over here, all the videos, photos, all that stuff you see pop up throughout the show, including his mouth. It's courtesy of moi. And all that good stuff. So, y'all definitely helping push this show out there into the ether, the internet ether. And, I want the sponsors and all that stuff to come in eventually. So that's, my big goal for 2025. Big things, putting out in the universe. Now, I see some comments. Yes, Onyx is in the building. Hello. I had to do that. How you doing? Drive seat. He said, Beyonce has been named the greatest pop star of the 21st century, rightfully deserved, and they even compared her to Michael, Madonna. But I will say this, because remember yesterday we were talking about that, and they were trying to say, I don't know, I think it was you that brought that up, that did the whole thing about that people was trying to compare Taylor Swift in that same conversation. I'm gonna disagree with on that one. Beyonce, though, yes, I agree with, because Beyonce is somebody who is a student of pop stardom, pop culture. Like, she really is somebody who sat and just studies the greats and has taken all the best parts of the other people's blueprints, like Prince and Michael Jackson. And I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of Prince influence on this upcoming, the next chapter in the Renaissance era, post Cowboy Carter. Which, sidebar, I heard that Jay-Z, aka Joe Camel, is trying to put out a book in regards of like his career and all this. I said, Chad, nobody don't want that. Just like we don't want that little book from your wife where she up in here trying to give us like a photo slides of the Cowboy Carter era. That we still waiting for you to drop the Renaissance tour on streaming or whatever. Or some people could buy it. Nobody want to pay those $75. Well, then I can't say that because I already heard the damn book sold out. So apparently the Beehive do want it. But for the most part, sir, you could have kept that where? Back there, in the words of Miss Vivica Fox, where she used to go in. Remember that from back in the day when she used to read, when she was reading 50 Cent? You could put that where? Back there. But anyway, I do agree that Beyonce rightfully deserves to be in the same conversation with a Madonna, a Prince, and a Michael Jackson, because whenever she get on that stage, bitch, everybody goes crazy. She gives you a show. She definitely gives you a show. So in that conversation, yes. As far as like Taylor Swift has a chokehold on a lot of white girls, and that's about it. And she's impactful in that way. They need their own Beyonce, and she's as close as that's gonna get. But as far as on the same level as a Michael, ma'am, you don't have that. You cannot get up on the stage and stand there for 5 minutes and have everybody damn near crying, men, women, and everybody in between. Because I've seen that with Michael. Child, look, the straights can keep him quiet as his cat. There's a drug that is popular in the. Are we talking about It ain't the pink booger sugar, is it? I mean, we don't know that the popular drug that the gays is taking, the homosexuals is taking, would be you know, Miss Meth. They be a board certified Methodist. They like the meth and all that other mess. So that's what we know they be doing. But I'm like, what's the new drug? I think I may know what you're talking about because I've heard some things. You know, you said this week in 5 years since the first case of C-19. Is that what it's called? Oh, Victor Yates is in the building. Oh, I forgot that you was coming to New York. How you doing? I think you're supposed to be doing the what is that? The for the what is that for the Love Adele season 3? That party. I saw that you was terrorizing the streets of LA with Tyler Hilton and them. You said Biden is pardoning his son for crimes. His crime bill locked up black people. Chat, don't even get me started. But yeah, but I'll be going in on him later on in the show. It said 5 years since the first case of COVID. Oh, you said I was like, what the hell? C-19 COVID, duh. Until we're about to probably get something worse when who get back in office. But he want to worry about just terrorizing people who did him wrong or try to lock him up. Which I blame them other people for dragging their feet on that situation. There could have been many a times y'all gonna put that man behind bars, but y'all was playing games, and now look where we are. So I don't want to hear nothing from them, idiots, because y'all sitting out here worrying about his damn supporters and what they gonna do to you. Well, then if that's what you're worried about, you shouldn't get into politics. But anyway, let's move into our first topic and let's talk about Scream 7, because apparently word on the curb is Celeste O'Connor, who has been in such films as Ghostbusters Afterlife and also one of the worst films of 2024, Madame Web, is set to play. Oh, set to start the film. We have no idea who she's playing. I have no idea who she's playing, but some people think that she's probably going to be the opening, kill. I hope not, because here's the thing. When it comes to Scream, we don't really get a lot of POC representation in that franchise. I will say this, that there were way more POC representation in the previous two Screams than all of them combined. So I will give Radio Silence a bit of credit for casting some POCs in, you know, in the last two Scream movies, especially in the opening kill where you had a person of color killed Samara Weaving. And then, so I like that whole twist. Where we actually got to see one of the Ghostface in the beginning, and then of course, we had Jasmine Savoy Brown, and then we had Mason Gooding, Fine Behind, and then we had all of that, and then Scream 5, we had a little bit of color, a little bit of color up in there. So it is good that we have a girl up in here, but we don't do her like y'all did Hallie up in Scream 2, because I was living for her and what she brought to the character in Scream 2, but then y'all had to go kill her off after she did all that work, her and Sydney trying to climb out the back of that damn cop car. Well, in the front, because they couldn't get out the back. Back was locked. But anyway, so getting to the story, basically says, according to Deadline, because that's who's reporting it, so that's the major trade. So this is actually true instead of some local website, which some of them do be getting the scoops, but for the most part, this is when we talk about the trades, it's pretty legit. So it says details as to O'Connor's role are under wraps. They'll star alongside the recurring Nev Campbell as well as Isabel May, who has been tapped to play the daughter of Campbell's final girl, Sidney Prescott, which I already told you I'm not really feeling her playing that role. I was actually, since we talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife, McKenna Grace is actually who I wanted, who I thought would be a great addition to playing Sydney's daughter. But you picked somebody else from there, unless somebody got their situations confused. And she was always that McKenna Grace was never in the running, and that Celeste actually was in the running to getting a role in it, but it's coming out now. But somebody heard Ghostbusters Afterlife, and then all of a sudden McKenna Grace's name floating around when she probably was never in the running to be cast as Sydney's daughter. So I'm wondering if that's what was going on with that. So basically said, while plot details have also not been disclosed, the film comes on the heels of Scream 6, which brought in a franchise high domestic gross exceeding $108 million in March 2023. Collectively, films in the meta horror franchise have earned more than $900 million in worldwide box office receipts. Now, Kevin Williamson, architect of the Scream franchise, who scripted the original Wes Craven directed 1996 title, will direct this. Well, he did Scream 1, Scream 2, and he did Scream 4. I believe, are the three scripts that he wrote for the Scream franchise. But since we're only focusing on the original, we'll just stick with that. So he's directing from a script by Guy Busick. Now, I'm wondering if he did a little tweakerization of some of the dialogue or whatever the case is, and just is going to go uncredited. Because I sincerely doubt that based off of what we heard, that Guy Busick has been working on the script by himself. Now, they said also aboard following collaborations with the scribe on 2022 Scream Reboot and the aforementioned Scream 6 are James Vanderbilt, William Chirac, and Paul Neinstein, who will produce for Project X Entertainment. Hailing from Spy, blah, 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 blah. We don't care about Spyglass and all that mess. We already know about them because the people's already pissed about the whole thing with them and their involvement with Melissa Barrera's firing and all that stuff. We're not gonna get into that, but y'all already know the tea. So they basically said best known for starring in a pair of recent Ghostbusters films because she was in Afterlife of Broken Empire. She also appeared in that horrible Madame Web, the Zach Braff directed drama A Good Person, body swap slasher Freaky, which I absolutely loved, and that's why I was really hoping that we were gonna get Christopher Landon to direct this movie, but you know what happened. And unfortunately, what happened, and he dropped out. So I love Freaky. I hope we get a sequel to that. Just like we're getting a sequel to Freaky Friday, as in Freakier Friday with Lindsay Lohan, who looks good, by the way, and Jamie Lee Curtis. I want a freaky sequel. Let's call it Freakier. And she also started a Sundance drama called Stella and the Spades. Now she's also currently starring in the sci-fi thriller UAP, and it goes into who represents her, which I know y'all don't give a good goddamn about. But I do believe so far this is the cast of people who are have signed on or are rumored to still be in negotiations. So Scream 7, for what I've heard, I should point this out, starts filming on January 7th. Now, this is according to Production Weekly, because I was doing a little Googling schmoogling, and I went over on the Twitter and I saw Scream was trending. And I'm like, why the hell is Scream 7 trending? So I just took a little gander over there, and it definitely, according to Production Weekly, they pretty much posted that January 7th is they're saying I'll put quotations on official, but they're saying the official start date is January 7th, and they should start, I think they'll be wrapping up around March. And I do believe the end of March is because we talked about it yesterday, is when Thanksgiving 2 picks up and starts shooting as well. I don't think in the same location, but it is going to be shooting around March. Now, in regards to that, what is going on with Patrick Dempsey? Because we brought that up yesterday when we were talking about Thanksgiving 2. I was like, okay, now he's got to come back for the sequel, because apparently he was in the first one and he survived based off of the way it ended. So what's going to be happening with Patrick Dempsey? And because he is married to Sydney's character, well, Sydney, because Sydney is the character, Nev Campbell's character would be Sydney Prescott. Since he is married to Sydney, what does that mean for Mark Kincaid, who was a homicide detective when in Scream 3? So now that you're bringing him allegedly in this film, it basically says that he is in talks to star. So I'm like, at what point are y'all going to stop the talking and get to the negotiation and give him the money or whatever, dot all your I's, across all your T's, and get him on his damn set and shoot whatever he needs to shoot as part of this film? It's the same thing I'm asking about Jennifer Love Hewitt. They already started filming I Know What You Did Last Summer, the requel, and because Sarah Michelle Gellar posted it on her page, and people out here like a damn dingbat out here saying, "Wait, is Sarah Michelle Gellar's going to be in the new I Know What You Did Last Summer?" I'm like, do you not remember the original movie that came out in like '97? She was murdered. Like, she's not coming back. Her husband, Freddie Prinze Jr., is in that movie. She's on the set with him. And I also heard that she's doing some type of consulting or whatever the case is. And she's going to be, she's friends with the director. So she's probably just hanging around, giving advice, moral support, like giving, just so that way they can capture the essence of the original film. Now, what's going on with Jennifer Love Hewitt? Now, I know she over there on 911, but sis, at some point, you got to leave 911 and you need to head over and do this movie, because you said you're supposed to be a part of it. I don't need some bona fide unnecessary cameo. Like, how big is your role going to be in this movie? Now, in regards to this, I definitely think that we need Patrick Dempsey up in here. And I hope it's not no drama and stuff behind the scenes. But as far as from the top, we have Nev Campbell's been confirmed. Courtney Cox has been confirmed. As we said, Patrick Dempsey is in talks. We got Isabel May, who's playing her daughter. I don't know how I feel about that still, because I feel like y'all aged Sydney's daughter up way too much. I would have been like, okay, I get it if you want to do teenager, but she looks a little bit on the old side in regards of teenager. And Sydney had two kids last I checked. So who are you casting as a second kid? And then we had Cassie and Bilton, who we talked about before, but they said that's a rumor. But then I could have sworn the major trades was talking about he was being a part of it. Now, Cassie and Bilton has been, if he is cast, because it said rumored, he is supposed to play Sydney's daughter's boyfriend, which is, her character's name is supposed to be Tatum, which I actually think is cool I hate that leaked, because I really would have liked to watch the movie and have that. I was like, oh, that's such a nod to the original film that you named it after your best friend, who was Dewey's sister, that was killed in the original movie, played by my girl, Rose McGowan. And then we have Celeste O'Connor, who we just talked about. So I'm actually excited for the new Scream movie. I just really, all the drama and stuff that we've been hearing behind the scenes, and all the stuff with Spyglass notwithstanding, I'm still excited to see Scream, because I just love the franchise. And I'm willing to put the behind the scenes drama to the side and see and go in and judge this movie on its own merit. I'm still be pissed off at Spyglass, but for the most part, I just want to go in and experience this film and see, okay, so were they able to concoct a story with Sydney? Because it felt like y'all wrapped her, I felt like her story was really wrapped up with a nice, pretty little bow, and we didn't need to conclude with it. And I was really here for the core four. So I don't like the fact that they fired Melissa Burrow, because I would have loved to have seen what this journey would have been, what y'all would have taken us on with these new core characters. Or maybe they said they should have just, with this long gap that they took the time off, just change it, like come up with a whole new cast of characters and revamp the entire franchise. But I guess they were scared because they felt like, 7 movies in, are people going to be willing to go and take a ride in the Scream movie with some characters they ain't never heard of or some new people? Well, if we did with the core four, then it wasn't a problem for us to do it again. But I think what it was that while we did get introduced to these new cast of characters, the difference was Gail didn't make an appearance, Dewey made an appearance, and Nev Campbell made an appearance. So we got a couple of the original we got the legacy cast members who came in to kind of pass the torch in so many ways. But since Spyglass messed up because they decided to react instead of just letting things blow over, this is the conundrum we're in right now. So I saw this to say, what do y'all think of this story and everything I brought up about Patrick Dempsey? Even if you can even like address the whole situation about Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I know what you did last summer because the movies came out around the same time, and Kevin Williamson wrote scripts to both movies, the first ones. I still know what you did last summer. I'm glad he ain't right there because that script was terrible. But I thoroughly enjoyed my girl Brandy being up and all that stuff. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so you said, do you think we'll get a POC slasher to break the mold, have Tatum's friend be the killer? What they should be here for? We didn't even really have like a black serial killer or a black killer, unless you're talking about Candyman. But that's a whole different type of movie. But I would definitely love to see. Oh wait, or what was that damn movie that came out? The one where they was in the we talked about it before, where it was like a black slasher that kind of came out. It was like a comedy, and it had like they was in the woods in a cabin, and they were playing that little racist game. So um that was that movie. So that was like the only time. Well, no, actually, no, wasn't the killer white? I'm trying to remember that damn movie, but or because I only saw it once. And that was when I had like stars, but I don't have stars no more. But it would be nice if they kind of switch it up and make it different, or whatever. It's like we want diversity, but the difference that I hate about movies in general, or even horror films, well, yeah, they do it. But I just say in general, the thing I hate about movies is the fact that y'all try to just check boxes just so that way y'all can fill a quota. I don't like when y'all do that. It's like, oh yeah, well let's we'll show like we're representing the community or we're woke or whatever that how they like to use that damn movie. I mean that damn word. So it would be nice if we had like you know something like that. It's like, I hope Patrick's people sign the contracts. You have two slashers, take a damn pay increase. Yeah, that is true. It's like, you know what? Patrick Dempsey's been keeping busy. It's like, yeah, you're in that horror film, you're in Thanksgiving, you're in Thanksgiving 2, and then be in Scream 7. Just take the check. But I know that he doesn't want to just be lagging around not doing nothing. Because we already know, like, when it comes to slashers, it is always all about the final girl. So the final girl, that's the one time in slasher films where the girl gets to be the victor, excuse me, and gets to be the strong character or whatever, which is why we love our slashers. But at the same time, it's like Mark and Kay's got to be able to not. He don't want to just be a Mr. Mom and just lagging around being like a lump on the law. Because the one thing I've always said that I do not like about horror films is the way they write police officers, especially like if you ever watch the Scream movies, the cops are always like so dumb. So I know he's not going to want to be one of those. You said Lady with the Dragon Tattoo is a great film. I don't think I know that movie. I know The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Is that what you're talking about? With Rooney Mara? Or you talking about the original, what was it, Swedish version? That was a good one too. Can't wait to see Freaky Friday. It looks really cute so far. Wait, you seeing it? You seeing stuff? What you seen? I have talked about queer many a times on this show, especially when it's pertaining to Omar Apollo starring in it, which I found a cackle. He posted a carousel of he has like messed up. He has fucked up teeth. Like his teeth look like something like they took Eileen Werno's grills and put them up in his mouth. So his upper teeth look a mess. I don't know if it's. I don't understand. I mean, I don't know what the character that he's playing, if he's a drug addict or whatever the case is, but he had messed up teeth. And then it was another photo. When you slide to the second photo, he got his booty cheek showing. I'm like, little butt. As tall as he is, what is he, like 6'6", with a teeny tiny little butt? But Queer, I definitely want to see. I think it's out, isn't it? Um, I definitely want to see it. I like Luca Guadagnino's stuff. Ever since I became familiar with him around Call Me by Your Name, I did not like his version of Suspiria, but I did like Call Me by Your Name. I still have not seen, what was that movie, Challengers? With Zendaya. I still need to get around to watching that. I know he wanted to. I want to see. So yeah, I want to get around to. I need to get around and see that in the movies. I need to see that, and I need to see that new Frank Grillo movie, Werewolves, because I love me some Frank Grillo. That's a fine ass man. But also it's because I like werewolves and they're using practical effects and all the other stuff in there. So I definitely want to see that. You said yes, Billy killed Tatum because he had to get rid of the ultimate rock block to Sydney. Or you talking about cock block? Oh, because we can't be saying that on here. Because Tatum basically wouldn't allow him near her. Well, that is true because she was smart in that. Thank you. It was a blackening. I could not remember the name of that damn movie. And you said 1996. Damn, it still continues. Well, yeah. And I remember when I was a kid and I knew somebody. Oh, he said outgrown slasher films. They've all been done. Sure, it can get like that, but it's like as long as they can find clever ways of making, telling a story, making it interesting. That's usually my favorite genre. Queen and Slim. Oh yeah, I remember that movie, Queen and Slim. But Hollywood is funny like that. Um, wasn't Queen and Slim the chick that was in that movie? Wasn't she married to Joshua Jackson? Oh, he said I was on set for 3 days. Okay, so you was out. So you was there with Miss. Well, so you saw both of them. You saw Lindsay and you saw Jamie Lee. Thanksgiving was good. I talked a bit about it yesterday, but excuse me, I'll talk about it again. Thanksgiving was good. I pretty much cooked, but mostly everything. I never did a turkey before, so I learned how to do that. I also learned how to come up with some glaze for the ham. I damn near was gonna kill my sister because she was gonna cut all the fat off the damn ham. Um, and I'm sitting there like, fat on food is actually it's fat is not bad. The fat, when you have it on like ham and things of that nature, it's there to like keep it, juicy and preserved and all other stuff. Once the meal is done and all other stuff, you can cut the fat off. You ain't nobody said you had to eat it. You can just cut the fat off, but it's there to just like keep the flavor. Because I'm trying to find the damn word. It's like just keep the flavor and stuff in. So I just like don't cut all the damn fat off. She done butchered my damn ham. I wanted to kill her. But for the most part, it was like, yeah, it was good. I made some cornbread, mac and cheese, ham, turkey, and it wasn't a lot. Some stuffing. It sounds like a lot, but it wasn't. Collard greens, and I finally officially finished it. Like, I just took like a couple of plates, but I was pretty much like I was because I'm one of those people like if you make Thanksgiving food, I be feeling like after 2 days, 3 days, I don't want it no more. I'm just like, oh no, y'all need to take plates. So I do not like Thanksgiving food, eating that for like weeks and weeks. I don't know how people do it. Jamie Lee Curtis is both charming and irritating at the same time. She has a knack for that, doesn't she? Because I remember there was a story that came out about how I think it was at the press thing for Halloween Ends, like she was doing like a meet and greet or something or another, and you actually had cast members from the original. You had Danielle Harris was there, who actually was cast, who played Jamie Lloyd, who was the daughter of Laurie Strode. Remember when they spun it off because they needed to keep it within the family after what the hell is that? John Carpenter came up with this stupid cockamamie thing that they're related because he was drunk and he didn't want to make a sequel, but they were going to do it without him. So we came up with this cockamamie story that they were related. Come to find out they're not related, which they debunked that in the David Gordon Green films. And so they said that Scout Taylor Compton, who actually played Laurie in the Rob Zombie Halloweens, was there. Also Danielle Harris. And I think that they took a picture with Jamie, and Jamie had this look on her face Like, she didn't want to be bothered. She was exhausted or whatever the case was. And they told this story on their podcast because apparently Danielle and Scout have a podcast together and they talked about it. And Jamie had heard about it because I believe one of her kids heard the podcast and told Jamie, and Jamie personally messaged them and um apologized and sent them books and all this other stuff. So she was like, "Oh, I was tired that day," and so on and so forth. It's like, yeah, I get it. After a while, when you dealing with a lot of people and their energy, especially if you're an introvert masquerading as an extrovert or you're somebody who's sensitive, you don't want to be. You're exuding a lot of your energy, and by the time the end of the day comes, like, I don't want to be around these damn people. But some people will take it as shade because they assume that um when you because you were the original in this certain franchise, you got these other people coming in. It's like, oh, well, who these bitches trying to come in and take over my stuff? It's like, sis, it's not that serious. It's like we all up in here as a squirrel trying to get a nut as actors. But you sit up in here talking about you don't like horror movies and all this other stuff, so you don't really respect the genre like people like a Scout Taylor Compton does or Danielle Harris. Like, Danielle Harris is definitely a scream queen. So, and she loves the genre. I still have not watched that movie that I bought that she's in like about 2 months ago. Damn, what was like the movie that was produced by the same people that produced Terrifier, and they had like all the legendary horror movie people in it, which was like Tony Todd and Felissa Rose and a whole bunch of other people, and they get stuck in this hotel, and um basically it's like these three killers going around trying to kill them for points on this dark web show that people be watching. And her and her family's up in there. No, I did not see Kamala Harris drunk meme. And then you said keep the fat for making soups. Oh, there's an idea. I'll do that next time. Christmas is coming. But anyway, let's get into the diddler. Because apparently Cassie, according to reports, gave him the opportunity to settle. And he refused. Which I'm not surprised that Diddy and his old arrogant behind would have it within himself to be like, um, yeah, I'm not settling, I'm not doing this, and this. And then here all that stuff came out. The video of him beating her in the hallway and dragging her and kicking her and all that other mess. And now here we are where he's locked up in jail. In the same prison as Austin Wolf. Yeah, I'm gonna keep bringing that up. So they basically said, according to Us Weekly, she came to him before she filed any lawsuit and said, I believe I was wronged by you. This is according to attorney and legal commentator Dante Mills, who appears on Law and Crime's upcoming 3-episode podcast series, The Rise and Fall of Diddy, according to a preview obtained by The Guardian on Monday, December 2nd. It was yesterday. And she gave him the opportunity to settle the case before she brought a lawsuit. Now, Mills alleges in part one of the series, which drops on Wednesday, December 4th, that he has intimate knowledge of the case, saying, I know that both Sean Combs' attorneys and Cassie's attorneys were in conversation, in talks to see if they could resolve the lawsuit, but they were not able to, and those settlement negotiations fell through. This is according to the attorney. Now, in November of 2023, Cassie, real name Cassandra Ventura, filed a lawsuit against the diddler, who is 55, accusing him of the R word, forcing her to have relations with male hookers on camera and physically hurting her during their relationship. Now, the exes dated on and off from 2007 to 2018. Say, after years in silence and darkness, I'm finally ready to tell my story and to speak up on behalf of myself and for the benefit of other women who face violence and abuse in their relationships. And of course, with all of this that's come out, it brought a avalanche of other people to come out with allegations. Over damn near 200 people have come out and had allegations against Diddy doing things to them. And Tony Busby, who was the attorney that's overseeing a lot of these cases, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's a part of that case that's supposed to be kicking off in May of 2025, but he's been pulling a lot of stuff together, dotting all his I's, crossing all his T's. And of course, we talked about it on the show. He's not beyond the allegations of his own, where people have accused him of blackmail and abuse and threats and all that kind of stuff, which I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if people are investigating it, but these are the recent stories that has been coming out. Well, I shouldn't say I don't know if they're investigating. I don't remember if they're investigating it because we talk about Diddy so much in this show. I can't keep up with every little thing that comes out about this man. It seems like every 5 minutes is a new Diddy story. There be sometimes I be having to vet through things where I don't even want to talk about it because I'm like, okay, another damn Diddy story. Like I'm over him. I don't want to be talking about him. But the fact of the matter is, it's like, yeah, we got to keep this thing going so that way people are aware of it. And on top of that, I felt like this was more interesting because Cassie was the one who kicked off this whole situation where now he is locked up in jail and been denied bail for the third time because he is a danger. Now I know we can get into this conversation, and I have, where it's like I don't understand how is it that Diddy's locked up, but they haven't locked up the dude from Abercrombie and Fitch that was out here trafficking young male models and doing all kind and drugging them and having all kinds of sexual relationships and stuff with them. So why is it like the known homosexuals get to be running free, but a closeted homosexual got to stay locked up? Because you can't tell me Diddy don't like peen. There's always been tease about him regarding him loving the comfort of a man behind the scenes and the real stuff that he was doing, because it's that shame, that overall shame and self-hatred that comes with being a black man in hip hop. I won't even say in Hollywood, in hip hop, and the overall hypocrisy and vitriol that comes with it, the whole machismo culture and having to be like very much, this illusion of masculinity. And that's what Diddy was playing up. Meanwhile, there was, a lot of people that was coming out behind the scenes and saying that there was some things that he was doing, especially with guys, that was kind of like questionable. Like, what are you doing? So I do feel like Diddy is fluid. I won't say he's a full homosexual. He a part-time one. He clock in for 4 hours and dabble with a little booty hole or whatever the case is, and then he move on back to the coochie. But I'll be thinking like maybe he's not biased. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in his head. I don't know what he likes. But to me, it just gives that very much like the abuse that he does, especially towards women. It's just like you are mad at women because you can't be your true authentic self. So you go and abuse women because they're weaker. Then you have your money and your power and your influence to do whatever you want with people. And I feel like that's the way he came at Cassie about that. But it's like, look, I'm one of the wealthiest men in the world in hip hop. You can't do nothing to me. You can't take me down. I'm not apologizing. So his arrogance took over. Because remember, at one point when the stuff was coming out with Cassie, he called her a liar and all kinds of stuff. Oh, I ain't never did nothing to her and all this other mess. Then when the damn video came out, then all of a sudden, everybody all of a sudden, the people that was defending him and basically out here calling her every name but a child of God, all of a sudden y'all wanted to backpedal and be like, oh, well, y'all enabled the whole situation. There was something that I'm glad, when you came forward and you apologized because you want to believe this man wouldn't be capable of things. But at what point do we start believing victims instead of victimizing them some more? So in a way, I'm glad that Cassie came out and said what she said and went in on him and told her truth. And hopefully it opens a Pandora's box for more people to do the same that have actually been abused and not trying to come out with some damn money grab. And hopefully these judges, but not judges, but hopefully the attorneys who's investigating all these hundreds of people that's coming out and making these allegations have all their priorities and everything in order and not just going to be like, oh, well, look, another person coming out with Diddy. Let's put them on the gravy train and see if we can squeeze more out of the lemon. Because if y'all out here making up stories because y'all want a damn payday, then you be the main ones that make it hard for the Cassies who actually have been abused to come forward. Because like we always say, like with women, it is a low rate of people who come out and say that they were abused, let alone SA'd. And don't even get me started on the low number of men that come out and report that they've been abused. It's far less than that. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of Diddy and Cassie and this whole situation? And you know what? This law and crime, because sometimes I'll be watching their stuff. They have a thing on YouTube. I watch their stuff on YouTube basically because law and crime. They be going into all kinds of crime stuff. It's not just the diddler. They be talking all kinds of stuff. So I be liking some of the stuff they go in there because I am a Law and Order connoisseur, especially Special Victims Unit. Like, that's my show. Shout out to Olivia Benson and Tutuola and all of them over there. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so you said LOL, same person. You know, I'm gonna keep driving that. He said, would you have paid Cassie? If I had done something to her, to shut her up, yeah. But I don't abuse people, so I would never be in that position. But if I was in a position like Diddy, I would have been like, okay, we got to do some type of settlement. And I'm like, yeah. Now, the only way you get the settlement is if, you know, you can't speak of this to anybody. And then I guess you would have to sign it. You said as successful Austin was, I guess it wasn't enough. Um, no, I mean, I was thinking of weird because it was like, I don't know if maybe it was always in him allegedly to be into underage boys, or did he get so caught up in this persona of what was making him money, which was this towering 6'4", 250-pound a muscle? Because I've seen Austin Wolf in person. Like, he and I go, like, his gym was right around where my gym is in Chelsea. So I would see Austin Wolf if I was when I was in Manhattan. And funnily enough, I saw him days before they locked his ass up. That's the funny part. We literally walked past each other. I was like, ooh, let me keep going, because I be saying shit about him online. You know, prior to this, I was always saying some stuff. Like, I would always make comments about the fact that he was this big guy, and then the type of young man that he was always putting in his videos. And don't get me wrong, see, and well, whatever. I'm not even going to say don't get me wrong, but here's the thing, because I've noticed that what really sells well, especially in adult performance stuff that people watch, I've noticed that a lot of the ones that look barely legal, make a lot of money. For case in point, Danielle Bregoli, aka Cash Me Outside Girl. You know how much millions that girl made when she was 18 making stuff for OnlyFans? And not only that, it's like when you look at a lot of these barely legal type young male models, they make serious bank. I mean, there's a fetish for everybody, but it always seems like we push this whole narrative of youth, especially within the gay community. And I think it all stems from when it comes to us as a people, we weren't allowed to be ourselves growing up. So when we get older, it's like we're going through puberty all over again. We're going through that self-discovery. We're going through, and I'm saying, not saying what he did was right, because I don't understand like how you get so caught up in this whole thing. It's like, I understand you're selling a fantasy, and that's what adult performances and stuff is about. It's about selling a fantasy. But if you're selling a fantasy, that don't necessarily mean you need to be out here selling babies and things, getting all kinds of stuff done to them on no damn black market or the dark web. And then you end up caught up in the FBI. Now, if he planning on snitching so that way they can get to the people high on the food chain, then he could do that. But I don't think that Austin was set up. I think that he just got stupid. He got a little too cocky, and it caught up with him. He said prayers are cheap, not cheap meals. He said they should get a paycheck for the punishment Diddy unleashed on the fuck Meek Mill, because every time I turn around, he always saying something dumb. So I'm like, boy, if you don't go sit your half how you doing behind down somewhere. Said Nicki Minaj out here hunting butch queens. Well, that was back in the day. Now I think she knows better. Well, maybe not, depending on what people want to really, if we're going to dive into the stuff about Kenneth Petty, but we ain't going there. Colorism, of course. Could be that. Sometimes I don't always want to go to that thing, but yeah, but but I feel like our judicial system and our government, y'all make it so damn easy for us to go into that, because it just feels that that's what that is. Okay, and I'm sure he probably run into a lot of rap trade in jail. RFK says there's a chemical in foods that make people gay. Oh, you mean then what was the chemical that was in the food that made him a damn heroin addict? So since you want to sit up here and talk about that there's chemicals in food that make people gay, then I tell you, them damn worms that was up in his brain, I wish I would have ate all of it, not part of it. And Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the best scene is where she takes out revenge on her. Oh, I did not like that scene. And they said, are Chelsea Gems pick up? Of course they are. That's what all the gays be. Shit, as Sailor Mermaid the next time he come up on here, because he goes to Gym U, which was actually the gym that Austin Wolf went to. And funnily enough, that's where all the adult performers go to. And he's been trying to get me to go to Gym U for the longest. I need to get my behind over there, but it's just been I've been busy and stuff. So our what's the word? Our schedules have kind of been all over the place. But he told me, and he said, "Yeah, I'm going to try out the sauna." I was like, "I bet you are, because you know what happened the last time your behind went to the sauna." Let me stop telling his tea on here. He would gag if he was watching the show right now, and I would have went in on that. But I'm like, "Chad, you the one that put it on here the last time." Anyway, so speaking of the diddler, let's get into his dingbat son, Justin, who apparently, excuse me, well, apparently has been banned from renting homes. So with all the homes his father got, why you out here still renting houses? And you know what? That also goes to show that I feel like that's smart though. Like a lot of people want to sit and buy and buy and buy. I don't feel like you truly like. I hate this emphasis that people feel like, oh well, yeah, you haven't made it until you've owned a home or you buy a home. I was like, I don't want to buy a home for it because when I'm ready to get up and go, I don't want to have to be stuck with this damn house for years trying to get somebody to buy it. So I would rather rent. So that way, when it's time for me to be like, okay, I'm leaving at the end of the month, then I can just pick up and go. I live the life of a gypsy. But it also says so now. Basically, according to the Daily Mail, it says Sean Diddy's son, Justin Cohen, has been banned from renting homes in L.A. because he would allegedly throw wild parties that would wreck them. A source claimed um, to the Daily Mail. Now, Justin, who's 30, has a habit of renting out mansions in Southern California and leaving them a hot ass mess. At the end of his stay, a broker who specializes in mansions claimed to the New York Post on Wednesday. The company that I work with rented houses to Justin, said a source described as an LA based facilitator for wealthy and famous clients. He would say, I'm having 20 people over, but there would be 200 and then they would wreck the house. It's gotten to the point where nobody will rent to him, they continued, adding that Justin had allegedly called them with a request to rent a house. I said no, the source claimed. The report on the consequences of Justin's allegedly wild partying comes after his rap mogul father was denied bail for the third time ahead of his trafficking trial. And here's the thing. This is what I always said, like, you know what? Diddy, like his damn kids, are a bunch of damn clowns. Because first of all, they run around here trying to act like they goons want to run up on Ray J. Act like they're going to beat him up at a Halloween party where you had Hazel Lee and them having to jump in. Act like they're about that life. Like, little boys, if y'all go sit y'all ass down somewhere, y'all are not about that goon life. Quiet as it's kept, your father really wasn't either. That's why all this stuff coming out and his ass is locked up. He thought he was a goon, but he had to get other people to do his dirty work and then take the fall. If you believe what Shine said, where Diddy also tried to take out a cease and desist because he was trying to make it seem like, oh, he wanted to tear down what Shine was saying in his videos. I mean, in the documentary or whatever that was on Hulu. I hope it's still up there because I haven't even watched it yet. There's a lot of stuff I need to get around to watching, but I haven't gotten around to it. But I did see the clips and stuff online. And now Justin, I feel like him and King Combs and his lazy eye looking happy behind because that boy looks slow. And then you got the other one, adopt a son, Quincy. And then, they all up in here, the three amigos, throwing little parties or whatever, trying to extend the Diddy legacy. But it's like, I don't know if y'all want to do that. Because, with the reputation of your father and the alleged freak offs and things that was going on, would y'all happen to be a part of that? Would you want that to be on your resume? Because now they're going to be looking at y'all real close with a microscope. So I would tread lightly when it comes to trying to follow in your father's footsteps in regards to like the whole partying situation. And now you got Justin out here renting people mansions and destroying it. Because I already know the type of people you having over at your house or at these houses that you renting. A bunch of people your age that don't have respect for nobody or anything. So If I was a realtor, I wouldn't rent to his ass either. I don't care who you send. I'm gonna do the thorough research. I'm like, who you work for? And if you say Justin Combs, hell to the no. And if you are up in here damaging property, send them that bill. Have them pay for it. I don't know how you're gonna pay for it because I don't know the extent of how Diddy's money is all tied up and stuff. Like if the kids have access to like money or trust or whatever the case is, but they just gonna have to figure that out. But you definitely, if you do any kind of damage to this house, you definitely paying the bill. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Obviously said, Justin, don't wreck the place. Pack my suitcase, grab a stack and my passport. Tell that goofball brother of years to fuel the jet. Okay. You said cigarette burns, stains, etc. I would never rent my home out without a huge deposit. Exactly. And there has to be like some insurance in regards to like the damage or whatever. Like like don't people have to pay that when it comes like to that if you do an Airbnb? Like you gotta pay if there's any kind of damage done to the place that you're renting out. Because I've done an Airbnb before. I did an Airbnb for the first time because I never would do them. I would always do like hotels or whatever. But the first time a friend of mine and I did an Airbnb was when we went to Philly for the Drag Race season 16 premiere, and Safira was doing her event out in Philly at oh my god, I forgot where the place was, but Brooklyn Bowl, that's where it was. And she had this big event where it was like everybody came and they did like a screening of the premiere episode, and then you got a performance. Honey Davenport, a bunch of them was there. So even Pie from Dragula was there. That's how I actually met Pie, was at Safira's event a year ago. Funnily enough, how this all comes full circle. But anyway. Oh, you said did he sue Diageo on one? Oh, okay. Because it was Diageo, the liquor company. So if you got money coming in with that, then I guess that's what the kids will be spending. Okay, now speaking of we talked about Ray J earlier. Let's get into him. So Ray J admitting he like his ass ate was not on my bingo card. But here we are. So he got on the line with Nicki Minaj and she asked him to clarify a comment about getting his groceries eaten. And he basically, child, I need y'all to just hear it. I'm not even gonna read it. So, hold on. Yeah, shout out to the neighborhood talk for this.
My butt. Yeah. Nah, I ain't letting them. Like, you gotta get to the balls before you get to the ass. But my thing is, if you gonna accidentally lick my balls and then lick my ass, and I'm chilling. Cause I honestly, I always get in the shower before I have sex anyway. So my ass is always gonna be clean and my balls. Show you like how I feel internally.
Okay, so how do you feel internally? Like, are you scared?
I just feel like after you name me Raja, and I've been telling people that's my name, all the girls, it's been up. I've been up. And so you was right about the name.
Okay.
Now,
has anyone licked on your balls and said Raja yet? Or the head?
Body nick. I know, not yet.
Excuse me. This is a fucking court, sir. I didn't ask you about your showers. I
ain't let them to lick your butt. My butt. When you said my new name, why you trying to turn you out? Like,
whoa. Excuse me.
No. You turned me up. Meaning like you turned me up. Like all respect, nothing sexual, nothing freaky. Because I respect you, Mrs. Petty.
Okay, I cannot. Like, child, you know what Ray J, you know who Ray J remind me of? Ray J basically gives me Orlando Brown in 10 years tease. That is what he gives me with this whole, like, the squash, like all that mess that he be doing. Because Lord goodness knows what Orlando Brown be on. Probably on that new drug the homosexuals are allegedly running around with that we was talking about in the comments. But I don't understand this whole dynamic with him. It's supposed to be like some new type of dynamic duo clown-ish that between him and Nicki Minaj, like they just jump on social media and do this buffoonery for just a cackle or whatever the case is. But that all aside, because I feel like Nicki is mocking him and he's playing into it. Now, in regards to this whole thing with Ray J, if he like is behind eating, that's fine. Why do people feel like that it is gay for a man to want his butt licked? If a woman got her face between them cheeks and it's tasting all up in his hole, as long as it's washed, as long as it's clean, as long as it's good, not some nice old soap and stuff up in there, like he washing correctly, because quiet as it's kept, we have had a conversation, or I believe he even admitted it, the reason why he wears dark underwear is because he don't want y'all seeing them doo-doo stains in his drawers. And you know, people like Ray J definitely give me, you know, stains in the drawers. Which is why it was like you would never see him wear like white drawers or whatever the case is. So you can get away with that a little bit. Because you know, a lot of y'all don't use butt wipes. I use butt wipes, especially if I'm doing number two. I use regular tissue, but then you don't want to rub your hole. I know I'm getting a little graphic, but you don't want to rub your hole to a point where it's irritated. So it's like, I'll get a little tissue, you know, wrap it around and get all up in there, wipe, making sure it's clean. But then if it's still a little dirty back there, I pull out the wipes and I carry them everywhere. I carry them when I go out in public. I carry them with me. Of course, they all over my house. I have a delivery every 3 months and I never run out from Amazon that I do Dude Wipes. Shout out to Dude Wipes. You know what? I need y'all to sponsor this show. I'm putting out in the universe. Dude Wipes is going to sponsor the Chris Avalon Unfiltered show. Because, like, if I'm an avid user, and I do think it's fairly important, whether you are heterosexual or a homosexual, I do believe that men should make sure that their back door is clean. Now, I'm somebody who loves to eat ass. That is like one of my favorite. I know that's a little too much, but that is like one of the all-time favorite things I like to do in the bedroom. It's like I have to put my face between some dude's ass, but it has to be clean. So I ain't eat nobody like Ray J. Your ass, I don't know. Somebody, you know, I wouldn't even think a dog would go back there and lick the crack of your ass. But if he said that a woman, like he likes getting his butt ate and to play with, we got to stop vilifying straight men who like butt play. And people thinking that it's gay to do that, because I don't think it is. I just feel like people, you know, if people were so open to exploring their sexuality, and I'm not saying that you got to explore it with a man, but if y'all would stop clowning men, particularly a lot of you women, because y'all be the main ones that do it, that if y'all stop clowning men on wanting to explore their sexuality and be like that, yeah, they like their butt ate, or they like their butt played with, or they like to get pegged. It doesn't make them bisexual. It doesn't make them gay. But but I know that people be asking, when is Ray J trying to come out of the closet? And I feel like that's what Nicki was trying to do. Now, I know also some people say, but isn't she supposed to be a LGBTQIA, LMNOP, QRSTUV, WXY, and Z ally? Isn't she supposed to be all of that? And you keep doing these implications of homophobia, things of that nature, especially because it wasn't that long ago. Mr. Petty was up in here calling people all kinds of F words on one of her lives, and she ain't chastised them over it. So there's that part. But I had to bring that up because everybody's got to get it on all the sides. So we're not just going to be going after him. I just wanted to wonder about this part as well. But the gays still live for her. So, you know, the femme queens and all that stuff. So, but there's that. So that's, you know, go argue with your mammy. That's between you and the Lord in regards of, you know, how you work out that situation. Excuse me. So in the comments, some people was like, why are people so comfortable on social media discussing to the public what they do in the privacy of their bedroom? I don't care if you like leprechauns swinging from the chandeliers butt naked. Keep that to yourself, sir. Well, I do agree with that, because I can be a little conservative in a lot of my opinions about that. Like, but based off the show, you know, I bring up the sexual stuff because it's part of the conversation. But I do agree with that. It's like, whatever you're into, why do we have to let people know what it is, you know, our freaky side and what we're into in the bedroom? Or maybe on the other side of that, why not normalize adults doing adult things, especially when it comes in the bedroom, because I just feel like, especially in America, we are so damn conservative and uptight when it comes to sex and sexuality. But when it comes to mass shootings and violence, it's like we get our genitalia get hard for that. That's just normal. But sex is always something that we always kind of turn our nose up. And I blame, the programming of organized religion. I blame religion on it. Milan Christopher's in the comments. He said, this shit got me screaming. Another person said, this why parents be trying to keep their kids off social media. But here's the thing. Ray J is in his 40s. He's not a kid. So what are you talking about? Another person said, ever since Princess left, he been going downhill mentally. Y'all just be reaching with these comments. Another one said, it shows how many of y'all didn't grow up with Nicki. She has always been animated and goofy. Y'all clearly don't know what cocaine use actually looks like. Google it. Wait, somebody trying to accuse her of being on drugs? Like, even me looking at this, I'm like, where do y'all get Nicki and drugs from? Like, I don't even get that. Now, if you want to question what Ray J might be on, that could be a conversation that we could have. But I'm not getting drug use from Nicki. I'm getting Nicki is trolling Ray J. Because Ray J online being an attention seeker. Another person said, I'm watching Dominatrix session live. You can see in his eyes when she gets stern. He likey that. Another person said, Nicki tries constantly to have a normal conversation with him and he just always trolling. That's why she hung up in his face. I don't think she was trying to have a normal conversation. I just think, like, you know what? If you're going to play games, then I'm going to play along with you. And that's what I was pretty much getting from that whole situation. But Ray J just be doing too damn much. He always been extra because, it's no shade. But we all know Brandy was the one that was the talent. She was the A-list star. She was the one getting all the accolades and everything that came with it. And Ray J was just there. So, and I'm not trying to take away from the fact that, yeah, Ray J is talented. He's a good singer. He's a good actor. But it seems like that he was trying to find out what his identity was because the sister always had this Disney-fied, squeaky clean image. So he had to come in and play this whole bad boy persona. And, basically became like my generation's Flavor Flav in regards to trying to do the whole for the love of Ray J and all that foolishness. And then doing sex tapes with Kim Kardashian and all that mess. So he trying to carve out his identity. So he had to try to Bobby Brown the situation and be the bad boy of R&B. But then he only had 2 songs, Wait a Minute and One Wish. So you couldn't even get there to go with, you couldn't be Bobby Brown. You couldn't even be Millie Bobby Brown. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to Ray J getting his groceries eaten or his booty eaten? Whatever your thoughts are on rimming. Excuse me, on butt munching. Let me know in the comments down below. Child, if I cut up that clip, it is not getting monetized. With all the stuff that I had to say up in there. It's that freak off was popular in the 90s, especially below 14. Child, don't even get started about the hookers, especially the ones with a little special, with, what is it? Especially the ones that had a little something extra between you down there, if you know what I'm saying. I think you do. DJ Mr. C, he tell you. He was always down there all the time. Messy. What on earth is happening in Black Hollywood? Vivica Fox is built like Tyson. Remember when Mike Tyson came out at that damn Netflix thing and a damn jockstrap with all that ass was. But that's funny though. I'm like, damn, yeah, Vivica Fox. We lived for Vivica back in the day, but she had way too much work done, and now she built like a damn refrigerator. But look, if that's the way she want to, if that's the way she want to be out here looking, that's on her. But you said, shout out to the baby wipe community. Yes, you my friend at heart. Never leave home without him. Okay. They said, do you say your grace before you eat? Sure do. You said loads of straight men enjoy butt stuff, and they usually less thorough. Ew, really? You said they're less thorough at cleaning. Normalize fiber pills and shower shots for hetero do. Well, look, I don't be going down on heterosexual men, so I like to stick with my gays because it's like I'm not going to teach you how to wipe your own ass. Like that should have been something you should have learned from birth. Well, when you was old enough to wipe your own ass, your parents should have taught you properly. But you know, you got people out here that really think that it's gay to clean your behind. Oh, it's gay to wipe your ass. Really? So you want to walk around with your ass smelling like backed up sewage? I don't think so. You ain't gonna be sitting next to me smelling like that. As Rachel gets older, he looks like a corrupt Haitian official. You said Cassie was pegging. Oh, I believe it. He definitely gets pegging teased. I also think he was pegging Meek Mill. Okay, so anyway, let's move on and let's get into Nick Cannon, who basically seems like he want to use his mental health condition as the reason why he got a damn dozen children from half a dozen women. Yes, I did the math. So it said Cannon has opened about his diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder, saying that he still doesn't fully understand the condition. The Masked Singer host, who's 44, revealed earlier this month that he suffers from the disorder that the Mayo Clinic says. They got a Mayo Clinic? Is that a clinic that only white people work in? What's a Mayo Clinic? So he said that the Mayo Clinic says gives people an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. They need and seek too much attention and want people to admire them. The clinic's definition adds, sufferers also find it hard to care about the feelings of others. But I don't know if that's narcissistic personality disorder. Isn't that more like a sociopath? Like you just only give a damn about yourself? Well, actually, that is true. That if you are a narcissist, you don't care about the opinions you don't care about anybody else but yourself. Hence, who y'all voted to be the 47th president of the damn United States. He definitely fits the bill for narcissistic personality disorder. Now, he said, I still don't understand it all the way, but I kind of always wanted to get tested for it. I did a bunch of tests. This is what he told People magazine on Wednesday, and that would be last Wednesday. He said, I was about to say he was diagnosed with AIDS. He diagnosed with ADHD. That's what he said. Even as a kid, it was dyslexia, but just knowing that I'm a neurodivergent individual, I kind of always knew. Now, Cannon, who has a dozen kids with a half dozen women, spoke candidly while serving meals at the LA Missions Thanksgiving celebration. So I feel like there's so many labels out there, but it's like to be able to embrace it and say, look, I'm healing. I need help. Show me. I just embrace mental health and therapy in such a strong way. To be able to say I'm an example for others, but also be healing during the self process works too. And here's the thing. He also revealed it during the November 8th episode of his Council Culture podcast. So, you know what? First, they always say that the first thing in any kind of a situation, especially if you have any kind of addictions, is to admit you have a problem. And he admitted that he has an issue. He has a mental health disorder and his narcissistic personality disorder, and it's totally believable. I mean, quiet as it's kept, majority of the people working in Hollywood are a bunch of damn narcissists. So it makes perfect sense that someone who is all about themselves and lacks empathy for others would be in that kind of situation. But then as an actor, you do have to show some kind of empathy, especially if there's a type of character you're playing. Hence, I guess why Nick Cannon is basically the young black Ryan Seacrest with all the damn jobs he got. Between his podcast, his hosting duties, his radio show, and all that stuff. He's jumping around in that sort of way. So I'm glad that he came to the conclusion of this. Now, my question is this: how does this explain why you got so many damn kids? Like, if you all about yourself, when you have children, it's no longer about you. It's about catering to the needs of your children. Unless you one of those type of narcissists that feel like, oh, I'm gonna just pick some girl that's not Mariah Carey, because that was the first one you was with. The biggest name out of all the women that you put babies in. Mariah Carey is the more famous one. So when you look at all the other people, it's sort of like you have all these kids and you thinking like, oh, well, they're going to be the primary ones that take care of the kids while I run off and work my 12 jobs and bring home the bacon so that way I can take care of all the kids. Because that's a lot of damn birthdays. Especially when it's like I don't know how you do the birthdays, like with gifts or having to take them away, or when it's special type of holidays or events or any kind of when they get old enough where it's like if they're into sports, you got to try to go to those events. If they're into performing, you want to see them on stage in one of their little shows or whatever the case is. So there's a lot of that, but you know what? That's something Nick got to work out on his own. But as I said before, I'm glad that he actually spoke out about, his health diagnosis. And I'm glad he's getting, that now he knows what it is, and hopefully he's getting the help that he needs. So I said all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of Nick Cannon revealing, his health diagnosis, mental health diagnosis? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Ooh. He said, but you can catch hepatitis from anal. Can you? Ew. And he said, did you see that Orlando Brown was going on rants on a Twitch stream? Orlando said Nick sucked his cannon, and that's why I'm right. I did see, now that's funny, Nick sucked his cannon. But you want to know something? I did see that there was something that was going on about him. I don't know if it was, I think that was one of the podcasters mentioned it. I don't know if it was Make It Make Sense. Hey Mims, because I know he watches the show sometimes. He has popped up in the comments. And or Lovely T posted that on her channel, but I did see that there was a story about Orlando Brown. I just glazed over it. I didn't really watch it, but I saw that was mentioned, and I'm like, oh Lord, what is he doing? What is he doing now? He said he brought it to himself. And it's new garbage music. Shout out to Shirley Manson. Now that's somebody that will never sell out and lose her moxie like Gwen Stefani. You want to know something? I just realized something. I think the reason why Gwen's bouquet flopped is because she pulled the Jennifer Lopez. It didn't dawn on me until now. Y'all be letting these damn men that be dickmatizing y'all dictate the direction of y'all music. And then when you put out a whole album based off of your man, the people's like, we don't want this. And that's why y'all music went into the trash. And that's why her album, like Jennifer's, is flopping. It just dawned on me about that. Destiny called the snuff tape fake news. Yeah, okay. He and Nick Fuentes hunched. Anyway, speaking of hunching, let's get into Tom Sandoval, who apparently has got mixed emotions over Vanderpump Rules being rebooted. Now, this story came out last week, but I didn't really talk about it. But since more stuff has come out about it, I was like, okay, let's bring it on to the show. So apparently, Vanderpump Rules is being rebooted with an entirely new cast, and I believe a lot of the cast is a part of Sir. They work at Sir. They work at Lisa Vanderpump's restaurants, which, if you have been paying attention to Vanderpump Rules over the years, a lot of the cast that has been on the show, like Lala and all of them, they have now worked at Sir for years. But the producers have managed to keep these cast of characters going with Vanderpump Rules, even though they ain't worked for her in the month of Sundays. They always had their little spinoff. They had their own little restaurants and things that they were opening. I know Tom and the other Tom, as in Schwartz, they had what is it? Schwartz and Sandy's. Their restaurant closed after 2 years. And then I forgot the other girl. She had the sandwich shop, but that's still going strong or whatever. But it was cute because she got her little, a little sandwich spot where you can make a ton of money keeping that going. But in regards to like a restaurant businesses are not easy to maintain. You're lucky if you could survive a year, in a restaurant or having a restaurant. So kudos to them for at least having it last for 2 years. But I'm going to be honest, I was never really paying attention to Vanderpump Rules because Vanderpump Rules reminded me of like a poor man's version of The Hills, which I used to watch back in the day. And I just always felt like it was fake, it was scripted, whatever the case was. And I did watch a little bit of the first season because they had old girl in there who was allegedly, well, not alleged, it was actually a fact that came out because, it's a spinoff of the Housewives of Beverly Hills because Lisa Vanderpump was on the show. And then when they had Brandy Glanville went in on one of the girls on the show who had slept with her man at the time, Eddie Cibrian, who is now with LeAnn Rimes, who was the other woman that he was messing with while he was married to Brandy Glanville. They seem to have, well, based on face value, they seem to have all worked it out, but it was a mess back in the day. So that was like around the time when I gave it a gander, but I was like, it's a little too West Hollywood for me. I couldn't get into it. It was similar very much like Real Friends of WeHo. Remember that show when you had all them homosexuals up in there where they were trying to do like their own version of Housewives. But I'm like, y'all not even real friends. And that show lasted like one season. It was a one and done. And you know, all the drama around that, we don't need to regurgitate because that was just a hot ass mess. But in regards to this, the only reason why I gave it a chance again is because the Sandoval situation was so huge that I was like, okay, what the hell's going on over here? Now I gotta jump in and watch because it was like all the Sandoval stuff didn't come out until towards the end of the season. But I was like, okay, I got Peacock. I'll go over there and I'll do a binge. And I got sucked into all the drama. And after that, you know, with all the Sandoval and all that other mess that went on, Raquel's out here doing whatever she's doing. Then you got the girl that I forget the girl that he was hunching that he cheated on with Raquel. She has a career. I just saw her. She performed she lip synced for her life at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So after that, I was like, but then after that season wrapped, I was pretty much done. Like I didn't care about getting back into the whole Vanderpump Rules thing. And then I heard like the last season, people were saying it was boring. So I was, in a way, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of glad I didn't go back. And after, you know, post Sandoval to see what the cast was up to, because everybody was saying that season was trash. And I guess the people have spoken because apparently with the show that season being trash, they decided to just get rid of everybody and reboot the entire franchise and bring actual, you know, people that work for Lisa Vanderpump into the show because hence what the original show was called. You have to follow the theme. So he says, where do I begin? I'm overwhelmed with so many emotions right now. This is Tom Sandoval talking about, you know, the emotions that he feels now that his time on Vanderpump Rules is up. The unbelievable series of events that brought this group together still blows my mind to this day. This is what he wrote on Instagram on Saturday night alongside a throwback photo of him with some of his castmates. The reality star was 42. So the foundation of the hit Bravo show was built on pure, honest, raw emotions, triumph, struggle, and love that happened between a group of real friends and our relationships. As soon as we started filming, Ish got real and never turned back. It's been a roller coaster ride, and you've been with us through every step of the way. This is what he added. So now Sandoval said it was hard to put into words what he was feeling because so much has happened over the years, which has made them a shit ton of money, quiet as a skip. And you know, even though Tom is in 42, he still went through his midlife crisis. Then you got crazy ass Jax over in the corner, his messy behind. Who I hear another one talking about he got bipolar disorder. So anyway, so they said that some of my past decisions led to incredibly challenging times. And what I've learned, valuable lessons and experienced personal growth, the former Schwartz and Sandy's bar owner said. Now, despite the difficulties, I'm filled with gratitude of the learning experience and forever grateful for all the memories. Now, while Sandoval did not reveal much about what past decisions he's grown from, because most people would think that, are y'all talking about Sandoval when you cheated on Ariana Madix with Raquel? Like, is that what we're talking about? So, you know, the tea spill because back in March of last year, as in 2023, Page Six reported that Sandoval cheated on Maddox with her co-star, with their co-star, Raquel Leviss, and the Broadway star since refused to film with her ex. A series insider told Page Six that Maddox's refusal to film with the Tom Tom bar owner really pissed off everyone else, saying it needed a refresh to cast that were engaged with each other and prepared to film together. It was time to go back to the restaurants and have people that were working together, living together, and sleeping together. Now, on Tuesday, Bravo announced it had no path forward with its legacy cast members, which include Sandoval, Maddox, Tom Schwartz, Sheena Shea, Lala Kent, Katie Maloney, and James Kennedy. Now, when Vanderpump Rules premiered in 2013, most of the cast, including Stassi Schroeder, Christian Doughty, and Jax Taylor, had been working at Lisa Vanderpump's Sir restaurant. And when I lived in LA, I used to always go past Sir because it's like when you, because especially when I worked in Century City, you would have to go through West Hollywood to get to Century City, which is literally Beverly Hills. It's like they're all neighbors. So you would definitely see you would see Lance Bass's spot, which is over there, and then you would actually see Sir. So I would always see Lisa Vanderpump. I said, oh look, Lisa Vanderpump restaurant. But then after a while, when you live in LA, you get past all the, the groupie type of, oh yeah, that's the location of this and this and this. You become just as jaded as we do when you come to New York, and y'all be so bright eyed and bushy tailed looking at these skyscrapers. I'm like, oh, child, that's another damn building. So, I do know that there's I forgot what the name of the other spinoff show is. Now I don't think it's Vanderpump Villa. It's another show that they spun off that they said it was terrible, but they got some of the cast members from Vanderpump Rules on that show. And that's where maybe Tom will end up. But like I said before, the minute these cast members start going up in there, oh well, he cheated on me with a cast member, I'm not filming with him. The minute y'all start talking about who you are and are not filming with, that's when you need to revamp. But this is the part that irritates me. Why is it that the minute Ariana Maddox says she's not filming with somebody, now y'all want to reboot things and get rid of the entire cast and bring it back to the original show's core? But when Teresa Giudice does it, all of a sudden y'all jump through hoops and try to figure out ways to accommodate her. Is it because Teresa is your bona fide superstar of the Jersey Housewives? Like, if you're going to sit around here trying to tell people what you are not going to agree to filming, then it's like, oh, well, we need to prioritize what your position is on here, because as much as you think that you run things, sis, you don't own this. I don't care who it is. You can be replaced. This is my show as an executive producer. I get to make the decisions and decide if I want to revamp and bring people in and take people out. You don't get to determine who you are and are not going to film with, because that's part of these shows. When there's confrontation, when there's drama, you need to work it out. And yes, unfortunately, it has to be filmed because this is what you agreed to. When you get in that lion's den and you want to be under a microscope and we're pulling all kinds of emotions and things, you don't get grace. That's why I'm sitting there laughing when Kyle Richards about, when you're going to give me some grace to Dorit in regards of, her situation about her relationship and breaking up and stuff. I'm like, well, when you going to chastise that no good ass husband of yours, who basically took a picture, as they mentioned in the last episode, took a picture of him with Kyle down in the house and replaced it with a picture of him and his dance partner from Dancing with the Stars, who allegedly he was hunching while they was partners on that damn show. This is why I was like, if I was ever in a relationship, I would never do Dancing with the Stars, because y'all just be out here late. I know y'all be spending hours doing choreography and things. I mean, unless my partner's Derek Huff, then I'm like, okay. Derek Huff or Mark Ballas or who's the other one? Val Chmerkovsky. If it's any one of those three, then I'm like, okay. I'll take them all three at the same time. Yeah. But anyway, so I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to Tom Sandoval basically speaking out on the fact of him no longer being a part of Vanderpump Rules? And for those of you who are VPR fans, are you looking forward to a reboot? Because it seems like there's a lot of things being put on pause and revamped, for better or worse, over there at Bravo. With a lot of their shows, we've seen it happen with the Real Housewives of New York, which a lot of people feel on the fence about that. But some people love the reboot. Some people can't. A lot of people can't stand it. Then you have New Jersey's about to be put on pause and revamped. Then we've got Dubai, I'm hearing, is being put on pause, possibly revamped. We also have a shakeup happening with Atlanta that's supposed to be coming out in the spring, finally. So there's a lot of these long in the tooth shows are being rejudged, for better or worse in regards of our pleasure or pain, whichever way you like it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Like you said, NPD is so stigmatized. It's quite brave to be open about it. A bit early to call himself a role model, though. A lot of work to do first. Wait, I'm having a brain fart. Who's NPD? He said, folks need a damn Hollywood agent to get a job. Well, look, the funny part is, in Hollywood, everybody's a damn actor. That's the difference between New York and LA. And that's why I had to leave LA. Because even though, yes, that is my wheelhouse, media, entertainment, all that other stuff, I just hated the overall fake and pretentiousness of LA. But I was like, and I lived in Silver Lake. So it was like, Silver Lake is basically what I always like to refer to as the Bushwick of um, Los Angeles. So it was like gentrified, but like you turn the corner, you see some drunk Mexicans laid out on the floor, passed out, from their alcohol consumption, which I liked a little mixture of that. I liked a little bit of the grit, but also a bit of the gentrification. And plus, they had a lot of really good food choices in that area. And I lived around a lot of gay bars, which is another thing that I loved about living in Silver Lake. It was like everywhere you go, there was like Act Bar. Then we had, I lived not too far from the Eagle. Then, so there was like a lot of spots out there in LA that was like, oh, this is a cute little bar. Let me run up in here. Or you could jump on the bus in 30 minutes, you're in West Hollywood. I don't know why I couldn't think about it. You said narcissistic personality disorder. I'm like, duh. I've been talking so much on this show. I've been like, wait, once I'm done with that topic, it's out of sight, out of mind. So I'm like, what's that BD again? That's a good question. When are they going to have actual wives in the Real Housewives? Because the funny thing was in the pilot, in the season premiere of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, they made that joke. It was so like, well, damn. They were like, so who's a housewife? Because I think they all getting divorced. Like there's literally no housewives in the cast. Sutton is not married. Garcelle's not married. Who else is on the show? Dorit's about to get a damn divorce. She's separated from her husband. Kyle don't know what the hell she's doing with Mauricio. So they going back and forth. They've been trying to tell her she need to file. She said, I won't do it because we're gonna, we're cordial. I said, yeah, okay. So he gets some new pussy, and what he been doing allegedly during the marriage and afterwards. And I actually like the fact that they had Kathy Hilton. She's been back on the show as of late. Because when they was talking about Mauricio, I was watching her face real close. And then you could definitely tell, like, she is not too fond of him. But yeah, for the most part, because they always said that Mauricio made trouble a lot in regards of like Rick Hilton and a lot of so when he was trying to maneuver his way through the real estate business, even Paris Hilton read his ass down to the floor for a lot of his shady shenanigans. So it kind of makes me wonder in a way, it was like, did you actually love Kyla? Was you using her because of she's the sister? Her sister is a Hilton, and she probably had to ask Kathy if she could give his ass a job. He said, I've never watched the Housewives shows because none of them are real housewives. I mean, at one point they were, the idea of a housewife. But, those shows are all built off the back of like Desperate Housewives, Dynasty, All My Children. Like, it's supposed to be a soap opera. But I think, I don't know if people really feel it for soaps anymore. I am definitely looking forward to that show Beyond the Gates, though, which is like the black soap. I won't say it's not the first black soap opera because there was a show called Generations that came on back in the day. Christophe St. John, may he rest in peace, was on that. Also, Vivica Fox, Vanessa Bell Calloway. It was a lot of people on that show back in the day. Everybody who you could think of that was black and on the come up was on that soap. I still remember that iconic fight between Vivica in that horrible dress and a little scrunchie in her hair. Child, I hate the 80s fashion. And that big old cat fight that her and I think Vanessa Bell Calloway was having in that scene. I think it's on YouTube. It might be on YouTube. There used to be a club called the Manhole in the Westfield. I've heard of it, but I've never been there. I don't even know if I was old enough to be going to a manhole. Or the Ramrod. Yeah, the Ramrod and all that stuff was before my time. I kind of wish I would have came up at the time when they had all those places. But then again, I probably wouldn't be here speaking to y'all if I did live in that time because I would have been a mess in those days. All the hunching that I was doing, or I had been doing in this time. If I was doing that back then, Chris would not be here. That AIDS Holocaust would have took me out. They said there was no wife in. Well, yeah, there are no wives in the Basketball Wives. They said baby mamas in LA. That's what they need to call it. But they would be like, oh no, we say the baby mama stuff for black folk. Or remember when Andy Cohen said at one point that they not, in so many words, I'm paraphrasing, that we not ratchet like the Basketball Wives or like the Bad Girls Club and Love and Hip Hop. I cackled when I heard that because I'm like, sir, yes, your shows are kind of like that because flipping tables, We forgot about Portia dragging Kenya across the reunion floor. Like we gonna forget about all the ratchetness that has happened on your show. So while you try to play it off like your show is very highbrow, sir, you do have a lot of ghetto moments with some of your castmates, white and black. Because it ain't just the black shows doing it. And we ain't just gonna blame it on the Housewives of Atlanta and Married to Medicine, which I think their new season just started up. We're not going to blame it, or Potomac. We're not going to blame it on them because some of them white women over there be getting messy too. And look, what was it? The last season of Jersey, we had Danielle went and smacked Jen Aiden in the face with a damn drink. I laughed when I saw that because I was like, yes, bitch deserved it because I don't like Jen Aiden, but I would have been, but I was here for it because y'all can't sit up here and say it's just the black folks doing it because your people be doing it over there too. You said Lisa went up. No, we're not going to sit up here. Not Harry Hamlin getting astray. She will never leave him. However, I will say this: Harry Hamlin can get it though. So I put that old man peeing in my mouth. Some of these older men, if you look like a Harry Hamlin or a George Clooney, I will definitely get in between your legs and in your butt. You said call it the former housewives. Could you imagine? Oh, that would be the ultimate shade. Y'all are funny with these titles. There used to be a gay chat line called the manhole. Oh, that's funny. Like, oh yeah, the manhole. Call the manhole. Find the manhole of your dreams. Baby mama's a bushwick. Why hasn't Andy Cohen become? That's a good question. And I believe that one of my inside sources gave me the tea, but child, I forgot what I almost said the agenda. What they told me. I'm going to have to ask them again when I get on the phone. One of them is like, because there was something that was going down in regards of he was actually on his way out, but then I forget something happened. But I gotta get a brain refresher on that one. I have not seen Smile 2 yet. Well, before I did the show, there was a lot going on. So when I got up this morning, I had a cup of coffee. Then I came and I started cleaning. I did laundry. I did some cleaning and all that other stuff. And then afterwards, I was putting the show together. I had some music on. I was like, wait a minute, I missed Dragula. Because I forgot Dragula came on last night because I was watching Skeleton Crew, which is the new Star Wars series that they have, which is like kind of like these kids. It's like a kid's version of Star Wars or whatever the case is, but it's like the Goonies and it's got a Goonies vibe to it. So it's very 80s. I was like, ooh, nostalgia. So I watched it. First 2 episodes. It's actually good. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely check it out. The little boy that's in the show, I was like, oh, he could be one of my kids because we kind of got the same features in the hair and all that other stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, if we was walking down the street, somebody probably think he was my kid. But I was watching that. So it was 2 episodes, and then I threw on Drag Race season 12. And I was like, wait a minute, it's Dragula on. But by the time I looked at the clock, it was 3 a.m. I said, let me go to sleep. And then I got up this morning and I watched Dragula, which we're going to get into later on in the show. And after that, I was like, I had to catch up on some other things. I was doing some stuff. And then I was like, no, I didn't get a chance to watch Smile 2. But I will watch it tonight. Because usually that's how I like watching my horror films at night anyway. Said thoughts on Theater Kids saying nobody liking Wait, Theater Kids said nobody liked Wicked? Where did they hear that from? Because I heard a lot of people said that they loved it. A lot of my friends who were on, like a lot of people that told me they saw Wicked, I heard they liked it. In fact, they said they loved it and they were crying and everything. And he said, and those housewives got more lawsuits and prison sentence, okay? And they even postponed at one point Jersey just until Teresa got out of jail. That's why she got that big old head of hers, meaning that she feels that she has leverage. But that was back then because the show was hot. Now the housewives have kind of like waned a bit. There's certain franchises that I go into and it was like, okay, y'all still got it. Like Beverly Hills still got it. Like I feel like they haven't lost an essence of what the show is, and that's why it's been able to last long. But then when y'all be trying to jump the shark in certain situations, I'm like, nah, it's not working. But Beverly Hills has been great because especially when y'all got oh my god, I forgot the lady name, the new black chick that's on there. I love the new Bazoma, I think is her name is. I actually like her. I think that she's a great addition to the show. So when they be up in here saying, "Oh well, black people don't work on in a Beverly Hills," no, there's a specific kind of black people that you got to get when you on the Beverly Hills Housewives, and Garcelle is perfect, and Boz, I think her name is Bazoma St. John. Boz actually works for the show because she is a boss, and that's why I was laughing when um on the first episode when Kathy Hilton came in and called her, "Hey, boss." They were like, "No, it's boss." And she was like, "No, boss." And I was like, "Yes," because she said she is a boss. That's what she was saying. Like, don't play in Miss Boss' face. And so I'll be living for her. First of all, a chocolate, beautiful woman. And, I love a strong woman. So, and then she's a great addition to the show. But I'm really hoping that they keep her demure and mindful. I don't need her coming in there being mean or I don't even think she would give that, but I don't want them coming in trying to try her. Like she could just come in, mingle with the girls, have those little tea parties, get caught up in the drama, and that's that. Let Garcelle and them be messy. Let Boz be demure and just hold court. Are you saying anybody liking Wicked movie aren't Broadway fans? Are you saying not liking? Andy is too powerful. Comcast is selling all cable channels, but not Bravo. Well, I do believe that yes, Andy does have a lot of power up in there, but I have to get back reacquainted with, well, not reacquainted because we're still acquainted, but I need to hit up my source to tell me because they used to do some casting for a lot of these shows, and they will tell me the reason what was the drama behind the scenes of Bravo. They also told me the tea about Nene Leakes coming back to Atlanta. Can't tell you when, can't tell you how, but the word on the curb is yes, Nene is coming back. And they said that Bed-Stuy is the home of black homosexuals. Oh, I know, because one of my friends who I don't really hang out with as much anymore, believe lives in Bed-Stuy. And you said Star Wars Goonies vibe without Cyndi Lauper. No, I was like, look, now, first of all, I heard wait, Goonies is actually on one of the streaming services. I can't remember which one. Because I saw like it was supposed to come back. I don't know if it's Peacock or HBO Max or one of them, but I did see that Goonies is coming back. But it's got like that Goonies vibe, but it's like Goonies in space. And I was like, okay, this is a cute little show. Like it so far. The one thing that irritates me about these Disney Plus shows, why are they like 38, like 30 minutes? They'll be like, oh, it's a 40-minute show, but it's literally a half-hour show, but it's 10 minutes of freaking credits or 2 minutes of previously on. So when you're getting that, you're getting the free thing and then you get all the credits. It's annoying. I don't like it. So that's the thing that irritates me about Disney Plus shows. But I feel like I'm a glutton for punishment because it's like Disney Plus, I don't really be watching it that much. I don't be feeling like they have a lot of stuff on there. But I keep it anyway because of FOMO. You said, I think Tommy Lee, the drummer, is on. I wouldn't be surprised. But look, and that's not the first time he hasn't been prone to being on a sex tape. It said Wicked should make $1 billion, and I think Moana will too. I can see it happening. I mean, it's already made a ton of money, and it still hasn't been released in other parts of the world. So yeah, I could definitely see it being a $1 billion movie. And you said anything popular with millennials is losing its popularity. Kardashians, Jersey Shore, etc. Well, I just feel like, no, look, I always say, in the words of the Oracle, in the Matrix Revolutions, everything that has a beginning has an end. So I do feel like everything is not built to last forever. And so when you have shows like the Kardashians, Jersey Shore, like how long did they think those shows were gonna last? Like you thought y'all was gonna be lasting as long as like General Hospital, when you thought y'all was gonna do a season 60? Like you thought that's what y'all thought y'all was gonna do? Like no. Everything is not built to last forever. Just like sitcoms and things don't always last, these shows don't either. It just feels like only in America, y'all want shows to go on for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 seasons. It's like, no. Now, I understand when you talk about Law and Order, because Olivia Benson could definitely, Mariska Hargitay could play Olivia Benson until she's 85. Y'all could cart her out in a wheelchair and have her taking down sex offenders, and I'd be satisfied. But at this point, it's like with certain shows, like with these reality shows, it's like, okay, we're like, who's still watching Jersey Shore? I haven't watched Jersey Shore in since like when it was popping back in the day. when it was in its heyday. Child, I remember when it was supposed to be a gay version of Jersey Shore. I actually auditioned for it. And this was during the when Rihanna released her Loud album. Went all the way to Atlantic City to the audition. And I made it on the show. We filmed the pilot and everything. It just never got picked up. Shit, I'd probably be like the Vinny Guan or not the Paulie D of the damn show. He said, totally noted. He said both the Kardashians and Jersey Shore need to go. Okay. And I think at this point, the Kardashians be trying to find ways to remain relevant. But I heard this story the other day and I thought about bringing it on the show, but I was like, y'all probably don't even care, but I'll bring it up and pass it. So there was a story about Dream Kardashian is apparently classmates with I don't know if y'all ever watched The Challenge, but Corey from The Challenge apparently has, he has a bunch of kids. But his daughter Riley is actually in the same class as Dream Kardashian. Apparently, them two got into an argument, and he revealed this on a podcast. They got into an argument over who is the more famous. I'm like, what? This is what y'all be having conversations about? Like a bunch of D-level celebrities fighting over who is the most famous. Like, child, Corey, we only know you from The Challenge. We don't, you're not like some big whatever. So your daughter up in there getting all happy over her daddy being on TV. And look, your father is on TV. That's great. Because he make a little chump change and he bring it home to take care of y'all. But y'all talking about famous. Like, what is y'all? I can't. I was like, this shit is stupid. And you said Garcelle used to look hot. Now she's a hot mess. I like Garcelle though. Shout out to her with what she's doing with the Lifetime movies and stuff. Where they said black girl missing. I did cackle when Sutton was like, you already lost one black child and you lost another one. Then they're gonna start thinking you a bad mother. I laughed at that part. I was like, that's funny. Because how many damn kids you gonna keep missing? But I'm like, look, people love that Lifetime stuff. My mother loves Lifetime movies of the week. I know a lot of people that love that stuff. I got a lot of my female cousins. They like all that. It's like Tyler Perry and all that other stuff. They like that soap opera mess. The scripts would be terrible, but as long as you get caught up in your emotions, they love going on that roller coaster ride. But child, you can pretty much figure out the damn movie in the first 10 minutes. I didn't know Madonna dated. I don't think she dated Joey Stefano. I know she was cool with Joey Stefano, but Joey Stefano, I believe, was always openly gay. Because the last time I checked, he wasn't into girls, was the type of gay that worshiped the ground Madonna walked on. So yeah, Joey and her were not hunching. Yeah, they were. I think they were good friends, but I don't think that she was dating Joey Stefano. Shout out to him, may he rest in peace. I actually liked I liked a lot of his classic films. I once walked in on an old white man going at his where was you at when you saw that? When you said I once walked in on an old white man going at his young black boyfriend. I hope it wasn't an Ed Buck type situation. If you know that story, then you know what I'm referring to. You said they are sort of. I agree with you. But you said they are sort of destroying. So, sort of. I think they already are. And it's Kathleen Kennedy. She needs to go. I really want to know what dirt does she have on Bob Iger? Because how is this broad still working at Lucasfilm? I don't even think Bob Iger picked her. I think it was George Lucas that did. But if you're not turning a profit on the Star Wars franchise and not giving us Star Wars fans the essence of what we want. I mean, I'm all about trying to change things up and give us something different. But if you're just giving us the same crap, like, look, we could move on from the Skywalkers and the Han Solos and the Darth Vaders. Like, that has been done to death. Like, that whole storyline is 46 years old or 47 years old. Like, it's almost half a century old. Like, we can move on from that. We don't need you constantly just like, let's bring up Like, go into that. It's a long ago in a galaxy far, far away. The galaxy is huge. Y'all can come up with different stories and stuff that could be interesting that plays into that wheelhouse. And it's like y'all keep coming up with stuff, and it's just not entertaining. But I will say this: I did love Andor, and I absolutely also loved The Mandalorian. Didn't really care for last season. Looking forward to the movie, but I did not. Overall, I love The Mandalorian, and I love Andor. I've been disappointed with a lot of the Star Wars movies. Did not like any. Well, the what was it called? The Force Awakens. With when we first got introduced to Rey, I did like that film. After that, the other two went downhill. Don't even get me started on The Last Jedi. And I went to the movies to see that. But like I said, I'm not gonna go too hard because my sister wanted to go to the movies to see that for her birthday. So because of that, I went. I was like, okay, let's go. So but I was overall disappointed with that movie. Oh yeah, Ahsoka was okay. I just felt like I like Rosario. I thought Rosario Dawson made it look good as Ahsoka, but I don't feel like she captured the essence of Ahsoka. And if we are getting a season 2, and I've heard that we are, I really hope that they do a much better job of her capturing, of showing how to capture the essence of Ahsoka. And Stevenson, oh, it was his Ray Stevenson, potato. May he rest in peace. You know, I was like, I thought that was his final show, or I think that was his final role. He was in, but he was okay. He was good in that. But then he also was in that horrible ass Kate Beckinsale movie, Canary Black. That's on Prime Video. That movie was terrible. And as much as I like Kate Beckinsale, I'm like, how about this woman? Because she got a whole lot of work done. She don't even look like herself. Like Celine, she is not. So whoever her doctor is, she need to get a refund. Because she looks like a completely different person. And you said thoughts on Taylor Swift being Apple Music's top artist, top songwriter, and top album. People are shocked that it's not Charlie XCX. Well, look, Charlie XCX, she may not have gotten top album, top songwriter, and top artist, but she did get on the top of the Rolling Stone list, unlike the Torture Poets Department. So there's that. And I think Cowboy Carter was number 2, right? Because funnily enough, yeah, Brat was the number 1 album on Rolling Stone, and number 2 was Cowboy Carter. Number 3 was MJ Lenderman. So, number 4 was Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet, and number 5 was Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft. So Onyx was right. I was kind of happy with this list. um, you and me both. But we're about to get into that story after I finish up all these other ones. The View is a top morning. Yeah, it does. It is. It is one of the top shows. But if you're going over there expecting them to talk real about politics, that's the wrong damn show y'all need to be watching. Y'all need to be watching shows like Savvy Savs, Pondering Politics, Brian Tyler Cohen. Like, there's so many other people out here. Even Tennessee Brando. Like, there's so many people out here that be really giving y'all the tea in regards of like political stuff. Because ABC and The View and them ain't it. MSNBC, CNN, all of them are a joke. You said The View will go back to it. I wish it would, because ABC News is tired of threats by conservatives. And I think what they need to do is, once Trump is in office, if they want to sit and really have a conversation about the things that Trump is doing that they don't disagree with, then we can have those conversations. But I do feel like they need to get back into The View as in pop culture stuff. The problem is Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi sits there, and whenever you talk about celebrity stuff, she's doing this, like she's bored and all this other stuff. And it's like, sis, they pay you $9 million to be here every year. Act like you want to be in this damn chair. Like, stop it. But I feel like I need to stop saving all that energy for this and save it for when we actually talk about The View. So I'll probably repeat what I just said again. I agree. I've saying that for the longest. They need to make a gay version of the Housewives. They've tried so many times, but it's just, I feel like the execution was bad. You know, they did it in the past with the A-list, which I don't care what anybody say. I love the A-list. The A-list New York, when we had Reich and Lemkool on there, and we had oh my God, what was his name? Austin Amicars. I remember when that show first came out, like when because I've been doing podcasting for the longest of times. When I remember I had other shows, we was always doing like recaps of the A-list. We had the A-list New York, and then I think they did one in Texas too, but that only lasted like 1 season. But A-List New York only had 2 seasons. Then they did The Real Friends of WeHo, which was terrible, with Todrick Hall. We talked about it on not on this show. It was my other show that I did. But, you know, So we didn't. So they have the one with Todrick Hall and stuff. That was controversial. A lot of people didn't like it for good reason. It was not a good show. Number two, they it was at the behest of RuPaul's Drag Race going to MTV, and they cut the show down to an hour rather than 90 minutes, and people were pissed off about it. And it's like, if you want to do the Real Friends of WeHo, you can create a show for gays or whatever the case is. And child, I still remember the day when I went to that season 15 premiere and I ran into Todrick on that carpet. That was interesting. And it was like a lot of the cast was there. Brad Goreski, all of them was on the red carpet. I was on the other side with media. And it was at some hotel in Manhattan that we all went down to. And it was like a lot of the Drag Race girls was there and all that stuff. Some memories from 2 years ago. But yeah, I would love to see them do a gay version. The problem is we have self-hating homosexuals like Andy Cohen and even Carlos King in the way. And then we've heard people say, oh, well, their excuse is men aren't entertaining. So they couldn't do like a male version of Housewives. I said, no, heterosexual men aren't entertaining. Now, if you want to talk about a bunch of faggots, you getting them on a show together? Oh, trust and believe you will be entertained. And if they ever came out with a gay version of Housewives, I will tell y'all this, I will definitely audition. I will definitely go on that show and stir up some pots and be messy. As long as they know not to put their hands on me, because bitch, the minute you put your hands on me, it's about to be the Bad Girls Club up in there. So, but I don't think it would get to that point because it's like y'all can't be doing these shows. But then, funny enough, there are YouTube shows that try to do the housewife type of stuff. Like you have Bad Boys with Karan. He has his own shows and stuff that he does up on there. Cause and then there's Chasing Atlanta and Chasing Texas and Chasing all them other. They all chasing something. I think at one point Oliver Twix was on one of those shows. So they have a lot of those reality type of housewife type shows on YouTube. But I do agree that we do need a gay version of Housewives done correctly. So it should be a bunch of gay men who are friends in some way or are know of each other in certain circles that are navigating through the world of maybe entertainment or whatever the case is. Y'all can figure out how to make that work. The same formula they do with the Housewives, you could do with some men that are homosexuals that are friendly or know of each other, because the gay community is real small, and you can start doing it that way instead of trying to do some stunt casting, which is like I didn't understand the cast that they had with the Real Friends of WeHo, where it's like y'all tried to get Jonathan Bennett, aka the King of Christmas, but he didn't want to do it, so they got his husband. But then Jonathan Bennett ended up doing it because his husband was on the show. And then you have Brad Goreski, because he's part of MTV and that whole family with Canada's Drag Race and that stuff. So they did that. And then Todrick Hall being controversial, and also he has an association with Drag Race. So they were casting in that way instead of trying to find real interesting people that have remarkable personalities. And that's the way you have to cast these shows. You can't think that, oh, we need to pick a big famous name, because once upon a time, Nene Leakes, nobody knew who the hell she was when she became famous. Same thing with Teresa and all these other people, or Lisa Vanderpump and all these other people. They were successful, I guess, in their own right. But when you put them on television, because they have these larger than life personalities, that's why they are who they are. And you have to look for that in the gays. But anyway, so we had, my friend Victor Gates was in the conversation. Was in the comments earlier, because he's in New York. I think they're doing the For the Love of Dilts promos and all that other stuff. Meaning, like, I think they're supposed to be at Rebar. But yeah, he was in the comments. So if y'all have Out TV, definitely check out For the Love of Dilts season 3. Because he's on that. And you said millennials have the reverse Midas touch. We turn everything rose gold and make it uncool. Ooh. Well, I don't know why people think that making things uncool is the new cool. Not saying you, but I'm just talking about like in regards to the mentality of millennials. So it's like anything that's cute or cool or whatever, you just want to shit on it. Like, I don't understand that mentality. Club Bath or Club 96. They announced a Daisy Ridley movie. Nobody wanted a Ray movie. I don't know why they even decided on trying to give us a Rey film because it was like she started out as a cool character, but then they ruined it. So I think it's like start over, create some new worlds, new characters, and go there. I haven't seen Gladiator 2, so I have no idea if it's good or not. We need a young Yoda Jedi school series. So it's like he basically training a bunch of kids to be the next Jedi. That actually would be a good concept. It's like you can have like a Grogu or because that's Baby Yoda, it's Grogu. But you can have like a school of like you could do Harry Potter with Jedi. Like you could do something like that. That would be a cool idea. A bunch of young people coming up in the trenches, learning how to be the next Jedi to take on the New World Order and that sort of thing, especially with the way our political system is running. Y'all could do all that stuff and come up with like really cool fight sequences because quiet as it's kept. The one thing I've always been irritated about in regards to watching like Star Wars is the lack of lightsaber fight sequences. Y'all just be irritating with that. It's like I want more lightsaber fights. He said they canceled The Mandalorian to avoid working with Gina Carano. Well, no, the movie's coming out. They did a movie with Pedro. Well, Pedro Pascal's doing the voice. You know, he doesn't really actually appear as the Mandalorian. He does the voice, except when they want to do those certain scenes where they have him in full costume and he takes the helmet off, and then you see him in it. But for the most part, he just provides the voiceover. But no, there is a Mandalorian movie coming, and I believe that they said that the movie is supposed to be the finale of the franchise, of that whole Mandalorian franchise. I like Luke Beasley too. He's a cutie. He said Luke Beasley is my favorite Gen Z liberal to deal with the racist chick and her thinking the N slur is just a word. Yeah, okay. Well, I want to see her go into the damn hood and say that word and watch the shit get slapped out of her. And I see many of white girls get their soul snatched from their body when they try to get cute with that word. She is insane and rude. And funny enough, because I give my parents like access to my streaming services and stuff, and when sometimes like when I have conversations on the phone, my mother's like, she cannot stand Sunny Hot. She cannot stand her, which I just be cackling because she's like one of those, she's very Kamala Harris about herself, very like one of those uppity black women and only a person of color when it's convenient. Like you're Puerto Rican today when it's convenient, you're black tomorrow when it's convenient, then all of a sudden you're for the Haitians because of your husband, and then you're for the Spaniards when it's convenient. Like it always feels like it's an act with her. And I'm all for people that's smart. But then when you try to act like a pompous prick with the smarts, it's like, don't play. Don't do that. He said Kate Beckinsale looks haunted. It's not just the OTT work. She looks trapped in a doll pleading to escape. She does look like a porcelain doll. Now that you bring that up. You said, I asked Reich. Wait. Oh, you're talking about Reichen. It took me a second. I'm like, wait a minute. What in the Nazi Germany? Are we talking about with Reich? He said, I asked Reich and why him and you did? You said you asked him why him and Lance broke up. He said Lance refused to leave California. I'm a New York guy. Lance is so oh yes, Lance is very California. And Lance is doing other things. I know he's producing this play with Michelle Visage at the West End. He also, I believe, has opened a new restaurant because they had like he's open. I think he opened up another club because the other club that he was working in, it was so much behind the scenes drama going on with that. He slithered his way out of that, and now he's working. He opened up another spot in LA. So that's what he's been getting into. Is like running clubs and things, which that's some good coin to have coming in. And the gays out in West Hollywood, they stay partying, so he'll always have some kind of coin coming in. And I get that. It's like Lance is very LA and Riken is very New York. So it's not going to work. Is another celebrity that's like that too, where they were just like, the reason why it didn't work is because they wanted to be on two different coasts? I forget what celebrity that was. Oh, and that's what it was. You said it in here. Jennifer Aniston and Justin Theroux. That's what it was. And you said us New Yorkers aren't made for California. U.S. New Yorkers. Yeah, we're not. Unless like you could really tolerate the pretentious, phony BS that's going on out there. Me, a year was enough. I was like, I've been out here for you. I can't. Like, it was just so much going on. I felt homesick. A lot of my friends weren't really out there. When I was in LA, I couldn't tell if people genuinely were being my friend or were just being very opportunistic. So I just didn't like the overall fakeness and pretentious of LA. So I was like, I need to come back to New York. And one of my friends who's from LA was like, oh no, New York is like that. So I said, no, the fuck we not. We are nothing like how y'all are out in LA. Like when we in New York, we say what the fuck we mean. Unlike some of y'all on the West Coast, oh, call me later, we'll do this with them and never meet up. And in New York, at least we do actually say if we gonna come out, we gonna come out. So we are nothing like y'all out in the West Coast. The only thing I liked about LA was the weather. And the food was a lot healthier too. Because I remember I had New York Shake Shack versus LA Shake Shack. They changed their grease in LA because they're all about their figures and health and stuff. That was another thing too. Like you really got to be up on it when it comes to hitting the gym. Oh yeah, you said I remember the A-list show they had a logo. I was a watcher. You said Joey Twink just got fired. Joey Mills got fired. Well, I don't know. I have to check into that because I'm like, bitch, let me find out if that happened. You said Joey Mills just got fired from X-Rated NYC due to a fight with the studio exec that said you're 30, start acting like it. Well, look, he looked like he still look like he's 12, and he also was out here hunching Drake Vaughn. Drake Vaughn made his bottoming debut with Joey Mills. Sidebar, I need to see that video. And you said, yeah, Oliver, Chasing the Lynn. I remember that show. Justice for Noah's Ark. Well, here's the thing. Noah's Ark supposed to be coming back next year. That's what they were saying. But where is it? Because we did see, like, I saw the picture where they was all at the table read, the whole cast. And so I'm looking forward to Noah's Ark coming back. Daryl Stevens still looked the same. The only one that I said that looked like they ain't aged well was Ricky. Miss Mama looked like she just let herself go. But anyway, let's move on. Yeah, that Vivica Fox stripping was with straight guys that flop harder. Funny enough, I had an idea about doing a show with male go-go dancers that would be in the vein of like Drag Race or something like that, and me hosting and judging. I'll still make that shit happen. But yeah, that was like, no, we don't want to see straight men stripping. We want to see the gays, honey. Like you say, you shouldn't call a show Real Friends of anything when the people don't actually know each other. Originally, it was supposed to be called The A-List LA. That's what it was actually supposed to be called. And then at the last second, they changed the title to Real Friends of WeHo. Because I'm sitting there like, yeah, and none of y'all was from West Hollywood. That was another thing, too. Because funny enough, I've been to West Hollywood. I was like, none of these houses are in West Hollywood. West Hollywood this big. I did watch the L Word. When I was when I was coming up and, when I was young and coming to terms with my homosexuality, I was at a place in my life where I was like, any kind of people don't realize, like, when it was in like the 90s and the 2000s, any kind of representation that we can get, we took. A lot of this younger generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, y'all sitting bitching moaning about, oh, this is problematic and that is problematic. It's like, yeah, that's true. But howsoever, we didn't get the opportunities. We didn't get the accolades. We didn't have the representation that a lot of the newer generation has now, especially when it wasn't cool to be gay or LGBT or queer, whatever word you want to use, in the 90s. We were still dealing with HIV and AIDS and that sort of thing, and discrimination for being a homosexual. Like, gay marriage is still a relatively new thing. So any kind of representation. I remember like the moment I saw Wilson Cruz in that one season of My So-Called Life, I was like, oh, look, representation. And when you see all these independent, and then the boom of independent 90s movies where you got to see like Beautiful Thing. I still love that freaking movie. And so many other films when it came to like any kind of gay representation that I would see, that's how I got my education in regards of seeing any kind of representation. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of representation when it came to people of color, and we still struggling in that department, but any kind of representation would do. So when Queer as Folk came out, the British version, I watched it. When the American version came out, although problematic now, I watched it because it was some kind of representation, and I could relate because I was a circuit kid too. I was going to the circuit parties. I was going to parties, and there were a lot of them in New York at the time that looked like clubs that looked like Babylon. Splash was one of the main places that reminded me of Babylon. Also, we had the Roxy and places like that. So whenever you would go to those type of parties, that's where I was living for. when I was in my backsliding days. So, I watched the L Word too. I didn't watch the reboot, but I did watch the original one with Bet and Tina. Yes, it can be. You said the OG L Word was right of passage despite its flaws. Oh yeah, I loved Pam Grier on that too. That was another reason why I watched the show. It said you will not cancel Brian Kinney in my house. Well, you know, some people do gag over like, oh, well, that was so inappropriate. You had this man that was 30 years old, hunting a 17-year-old. I'm like, and I was fucking men that age when I was, that was back when I was bottoming. When I was young and I ain't know no better. Having sex with older men. I lost my virginity to an older man. So I feel like when it comes down to it, a lot of us, and I'm not saying it's like this is just something that I'm proud of or whatever the case is, but it was just like, when you're young and you're trying to figure things out, you don't have access to things. We didn't have Grindr and we didn't have, these apps and stuff back then. You had to actually go out and meet people. And I was just minding my business. And this man approached me. It was a muscular black man. Took me to a hotel and tore my behind up. Laugh at it now, but child, look, it was some good sex. And he had a big one too. But and I didn't know anything about all that other stuff, but yeah, it was like that seemed to be a lot of things that went on when you were younger. When you're like, I was very much Justin Taylor from Queer as Folk when Queer as Folk came out, where I was like, I was going out. I'm horny, 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 so horny, 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 horny. Y'all know that song by Moose T. So, when you young and you just trying to find a ways to go out and get laid, that's what we had to do. We had to go out in the streets and find us somebody's husband to hunch. So, while back then it wasn't seen as problematic, I understand in 2024 it is. So you said it was, and it was common, and what as Brian, as Robert says, it was very common for a 17-year-old to have sex with an adult gay guy, and I was one of those people. Like I told you, I was definitely Justin Taylor, Chad. And once I got me my first whiff of fiend, you couldn't tell me shit. When I was on Grindr earlier this year, I almost lost it to a 44-year-old man, and he knew I was 19 at the time. Couldn't last more 12 hours on the app though. Ooh. Well, yeah, it's like some people look at that as pedophilia, and it's like you call it what you like, but look. A lot of these older men like going after these young boys. These boys love the attention and all other stuff, but it's like you got to go in and be smart with that stuff. But I tell you that now. But when I was that age, there have been many situations I put myself in where I would not be allowed today. But luckily, I listened to my inner spirit, who has managed to weed me out of bad situations. Shut up, Cleveland. I'm dead. He said, "Heck, Queer as Folk UK had a 50-year-old protagonist." Mm-hmm. Shout out to oh my God, what the hell's his name? The one that's about to play Ed Gein in that not American Crime Story, in that Ryan Murphy movie, Charlie Hunnam. Mm-hmm. He was the original Justin. That wasn't his name in the UK Queer as Folk, but he was in the show. Thank you, Charlie. I said like, it came to me, Charlie Hunnam, his cute self. And you said there was 3 older men that wanted me. Ooh, why didn't Mr. C? And then we bring him up in the show earlier when you was talking about 14th Street. Well, just as a reminder, I know we go on with a lot of the stuff in the comments, but as I did yesterday, and it took me a minute to do it, but it got done, I am going to put timestamps into the, if you are chiming in late into the show, I am going to put timestamps on each of the topics so that way people can fast forward to the, specific stories and stuff that they want to hear. So don't worry, y'all. You said he was trolling Best Stop the Spanish Tail. Mm-hmm. Taco. Was it Best Stop or was it 14th Street? Because it was notorious that Mrs. C used to always be out on 14th and 8th. Because it was notorious over there. That's the whole stroll. Well, I think it was going more towards 9th and 10th. Because that's the Meatpacking District over in that area. So I'm dead. Mm-hmm. They say gay men live 2 lives after they come out, one from the waist down and the second life from the neck up. That would be a good. Oh yeah, because it's like, when you're younger, it is all about just having lots of sex and getting that all out of your system. And then when you're older, it's not even about the sex anymore. It's more about like the connection, the intellect, and all that stuff. That would be a good question to see like what ventures they're going to explore in regards of um Noah's Ark, because I'm definitely want to know where this cast is today. I also think that we need more shows. Speaking of which, there is this show on YouTube, and I was shocked that they even had full frontal nudity up in there. There's this Spanish show that I saw. It's similar to like, it's got the same vibe of like a Sex and the City, Noah's Ark, those type of shows. It's like a group of gay friends navigating through, I think they're in LA or something, another Spanish show. So it's like a bunch of Latino men. And then they got all men of all different shapes and sizes. There's this one guy up in there that's like, he's like, I wouldn't even call him like a bear. He's like thick. And he was sexy too. But it was like, he's a thick guy who he has an affinity for twinks. So we always go for like young men. But y'all, the scene when he was hunching that young boy and you saw all his meat swinging, I'm like, and y'all got away with this on YouTube? I gagged. I was like, okay. And the creator of the show actually follows me on Instagram. So I was like, he was like, tell everybody about the show. And I was like, I'm telling y'all now. Strange Love. One word. So if y'all get a chance to watch that show, chill, watch it. Because they need a season 2. But anyway, where we got? Oh, let's get into this Andy Cohen story. So Andy Cohen is breaking his silence, speaking of Vanderpump Rules, because that's what he was talking about. He spoke up about his the Vanderpump Rules reboot, with only Lisa Vanderpump returning, and a complete new cast, because like they said, they want to revamp the show around the people that actually work at her restaurants rather than what they was having before, because it was like with Tom and Katie and Ariana and all these other people that were part of the show. It's sort of like, well, y'all not on the show no more. Y'all basically off doing y'all own thing, but y'all, it's called Vanderpump Rules. So we need to move y'all onto another show. While Vanderpump Rules is supposed to be about Lisa Vanderpump and the people that work in club restaurants. So now they're getting back to basics regarding the show. So now, according to reports, the Bravo executive addressed the network's decision to replace the series' longtime stars with a new group of close-knit servers, and it's spelled S-U-R, because that's the name of her restaurant, dash V-E-R-S. So, they love their puns over there. On Monday's episode of his Sirius XM show, Andy Cohen Live. Now, Bravo announced, or word got out, that they are revamping the show, and I have to say, this is, first of all, the absolute right thing to do. This is what he told listeners. Now, Cohen, who's 56, said he was also so impressed that producers were able to keep the show going over the last couple of years, despite the main stars no longer working at Sir, the West Hollywood restaurant at the center of the earlier seasons. Now, the entire point of the show morphed and changed as it went on, as it wound up that James Kennedy was the only one with any kind of footprint at Sir, because he was DJing there occasionally, and now he's gone on and he's got a residency in Vegas. He's also done Coachella a couple of times too, and he's having great success, and they're all having good success outside of Sir. Now, Cohen also pointed out that several of the stars, such as Tom Schwartz, Lala Kent, and Sheena Shea, have very organically moved onto the Valley, which he says makes perfect sense. So, yeah, that was the other show, because I could not for the life of me remember the name of that damn show, but it's called The Valley. And I'm sitting there wondering, because when we talked about Tom Sandoval prior to this topic, I was like, I wonder if they're going to move him over there to the Valley. And I've heard that people said the Valley's not that great. I haven't seen the show, but so I'm just going by what the people said. But I'm guessing because they have them on there, and I'm sure they got a mixture of other people on there as well, that maybe the show is good. So now they said the Bravo head honcho also noted that it was getting more difficult to film due to feuds between castmates, such as Ariana Madix's bombshell breakup with Tom Sandoval and her falling out with Kent. And then you have others who don't want to be in the same room, much less on the same show with each other. And that makes sense too, Cohen continued. So what you were left with was really just a few pieces of what the original Vanderpump Rules was. So I think this is a very smart programming move. And like I said in the earlier show, was that when you got people running around talking about, well, who they will and will not film with because they got this kind of beef or that beef, then it's like, you know what? If y'all gonna be acting like this, then we need to just get rid of y'all altogether. Like, y'all don't run this show. You don't tell me who you are and are not filming with. Or if you don't want to film with these people, you know what? That's fine. but you can find a job elsewhere in that sense, if this is the game that you want to play. So I get that. But he also likened it to the Real Housewives of New York reboot, explaining that all good things must come to an end. Now, didn't I say that? And this is the first time I'm reading this article too. I said that. I was like, everything has a beginning, has an end. Like, everything is nothing in life is supposed to last forever. I don't believe relationships supposed to last forever. I don't believe friendships always going to last forever. I do think that things change, evolve, morph, change, whatever you want to call it. That, and especially when it comes with shows, that a show is not supposed to last 20, 25, 35, 65 seasons. Sometimes it's that you either revamp the situation or cancel it altogether. So to me, I feel like this actually works because it's sort of Vanderpump Rules. The base of the show, the core of the show is the restaurant. So as long as Lisa Vanderpump got restaurants and she got people that work there that want to be a part of the reality show, the show will work. Now, the show will last. But now the question remains, will the audience be open to wanting to be engaged with new people that they're not familiar with? I'm always willing to give something a chance. If I care enough about the show, if you're going to revamp it. Like I said, I gave New York a chance. I didn't like it. I just felt like these women were not that interesting to me. So I stopped watching. Now, the same thing's going to have to happen with Jersey. You got a bunch of people that don't want to work with each other. They had to find ways to film. Certain casts would only film with each other. Then you had to split the cast up and things. And then you got them in the finale, and Teresa damn near tried to kill, her own damn sister-in-law. And there was always this drama. So they got them to come in the finale episode. And then you had Black Dolores over there being neutral Nancy, trying to keep the peace. And then what happened was, in the reunion, you had to film them in separate rooms. So we don't need it to be at that point. You either get people that want to be willing to work together and play the game, or it's time to just fire some people, bring some new people in. Don't completely revamp it in regards to the housewives. I think you need to mingle, or not mingle, but you need to kind of like mix up all the girls. Like bring some old and some new, some to borrow, some to blue, like somebody get married. And that sort of thing. So I totally get where Andy's coming from with that. But you know what, like I said, hopefully it doesn't go the way of, the housewives, where it's just like, they try revamping the shows and it hasn't been working with some of them, especially New York. Like I know a lot of people the ratings aren't there for that. But they're still giving it a chance over there. Because it said, like it or hate it, or like them or hate them, they were always very much themselves, and that's what made the show so entertaining. And I will say this, it was because I was definitely on the side of, I didn't like any of them people. Like, I just didn't feel like anybody on Vanderpump Rules was likable. But I guess that's what made them likable, is that they were just like, maybe they all got what Nick Cannon got, narcissistic personality disorder. And that just works for whatever they got over there. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to what Andy had to say regarding Vanderpump Rules? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Oh, you saw it? When you was in my Strange Love, I See What You Mean. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I watched that show, I gagged. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all got a penis and y'all showing butt cheeks. It's like, first of all, in the first episode is like a lot of sex in it. And I'm like, okay. Oh, speaking of which, Naysha Lopez is in the show too. Shout out to her. That was another thing, because I was like, wait a minute, this is somebody I know. I mean, this is somebody that's famous in it too. Yeah, Naysha Lopez is in one of the episodes. Okay, Chad, let's get into this mess with Justin Timberlake. Now, there's some word going around that he and his wife are reportedly struggling in their marriage after the DWI. And I'm sitting there like, the DWI happened a while ago. Why are y'all still struggling? Let's either go to therapy or file for divorce. Like, I don't understand why y'all still struggling with the DWI unless he back to drinking heavily. But this is according to Radar Online. So let's take it with a grain of salt, because I side-eyed this whole story when I first heard it. But let me read it, and then I'll give my opinion. So it said, all Jessica Biel wants for Christmas, besides her 2 front teeth, is a break from her troublemaking hubby, Justin Timberlake, according to sources. The sexy back singer, who's 43, but look 63, is slated to be off his Forget Tomorrow tour through the holiday season and beyond, which the RadarOnline.com sources say will leave Biel, 42, time to reflect on their rocky 12-year marriage. Said she might go to one or two of his concerts to show she's willing to support him, but privately she's relieved to be having some space so she can take stock, catch up on her own projects, and see friends. Emotionally, it'll be a relief for her to get away from all the drama. Now, the celeb couple, who are parents to sons Silas 9 and Phineas 4, you name your child after Billie Eilish's brother. Anyway, are said to be living on borrowed time ever since Timberlake's DWI arrest in Sag Harbor, New York last June, even though he got off with just a wrist slap because he's white and got a lot of coins and he's a male, but we'll move on from that, after pleading guilty to a lesser charge. And the heartthrob previously strained the marriage when he was caught holding hands. Let's not forget about this because I brought this up with his Palmer co-star Alicia Wainwright, 35, during a night out on the town in New Orleans in 2019. Now, as everyone knows, they've had some hurdles to navigate, and Jessica actually needs some space right now for her own mental health. This is what the insider blabbed to Radar Online. She doesn't want to divorce Justin, but she just isn't about to follow him around like a puppy dog either. Meanwhile, Justin's checking in with her daily, but it's safe to say he's feeling like he could use some time away too. And I feel like, you know what, when it comes to marriage, the good thing about marriages is that if you can go off and do your thing and I'm off doing mine, because we saw over the summer that Jessica Biel was off filming some series or whatever. I think it was for Hulu. But she was out here acting while he was off acting a fool and, you know, getting drunk out in Sag Harbor, which she didn't know about. But then I heard when she did find out, she read him the riot act. But they're talking about that she don't want to divorce him. Of course she don't, because first of all, I don't think Jessica Biel will ever leave Justin Timberlake. So if they were ever even going to insinuate that in this story, I would be like, y'all a lie, because he's done many of things to her that would make a woman want to leave her man, and she stuck by his ass. You know, through thick and thin, through sickness and health, and for better and for worse. So I do not feel like Jessica would ever leave this man. I mean, quiet as it's kept, weren't they in a relationship? Didn't they get wasn't she messing with him when he was with Cameron Diaz, allegedly? That's that was the alleged word on the street. And I don't understand what's holding somebody back from, okay, if you have a 12-year marriage, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the concerts every now and again just to show that I'm supporting. I wouldn't expect someone's wife to be on tour with them all the time, like Jelly Roll with Bunny. I wasn't expecting her to be Bunny and be up under her husband all the time, like she is with Jelly Roll. I was expecting, okay, Jessica will pop in every now and again and support her husband, sit out front row, whatever, and then she'll pop up on the tour every now and again, but she's off doing her own thing. I thought that would have been a given. It's not like we expected her to be, you know, running the streets with her husband all the time or to be like acting like a damn groupie. You was acting like a groupie before you got with him. Now that you got the man, you don't need to follow him around like a groupie no more. So I'm not mad at her over wanting to, you know, do that or to want to go around and catch up on other acting projects or hang out with your friends. Like, who's stopping you from doing all of that? I hope he's not. I hope he's not one of those type of men that only want you to just sit at home and just be a mother to my two sons, and I can't be out here kikiing with my girlfriends. Because I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not sitting up in the house while you go off doing God knows what with Lord knows who. And because you in an unhappy marriage, because nobody told y'all to run off and get married so young and then have all them kids and things. You've been in a 12-year relationship with her, or 14-year, but I think they were married for 12. And now you're unhappy with the way y'all life is. This is what y'all heterosexuals like doing. Y'all like being wrapped up in these long behind relationships. And then you had these kids and y'all can't go out and do the things you want to do. This is the bed you made, and you got to lie in it, sir. And look, if she was willing to forgive him for the alleged situation that happened between um him and Alicia Wainwright, where he had that hand on her thigh, and we have known for years that Justin is notorious for cheating. Britney Spears pointed out in that book, Woman and Me. Well, I saw recently Britney went on social, well, she said that she was 5 years old, she was joking, and didn't even know her actual age. Sis, you're 43. You were born in 1981, you're 43. Or was it 82? I was yeah, she's born in 82, right? No, 81. I'm bugging. No, she's 81. Anyway, you say all this to say. What do y'all think of this story? Do y'all think that Britney Spears, do you think that Justin and Jessica will ever get a divorce? I don't think they ever will. And I honestly don't feel like that there's anything wrong with couples taking time apart. I actually am here for people who are in relationships that have separate bedrooms or even separate places. Because it's like, I like my space, you like your space, but then when we need to come together, we can do what we need to do in our own time when we need to come together. But for the most part, I like touring because it gives me space to be, excuse me, not have to be caught up in doing the husband thing and the father thing and all this stuff. Not saying that, well, maybe some people say like, oh, well, you the one that decided to be a husband and a father. So you can't be out here trying to run away and neglect your responsibilities. But I also think that at sometimes when parents are working their regular career or job or whatever, and then you come home and deal with kids, which is another part of a job. Sometimes you want a little me time and you want a little break for yourself. So I totally get it if that's what these two plan on doing. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have comments. And you said they'll probably get divorced. Probably, but I doubt she'll leave him. You said rumor is she might not be a hoe. Well, you know what? Quiet as was kept. I've always kind of thought she gave me bulldagger teeth. He said, I was 15 when I started going to clubs, and I had guys in their 30s trying to take me home. And everything, like, you know, when you think you're a lot older than, because it was like, you have to be older if you're in the club, unless they asked you your age and you told them, and they was really just adamant about it. Oh, you 15? Oh, I can get up. I'm 30 years old, and I got this old 15-year-old coochie I'm trying to get up in. And you said when the magic dies and you become roommates, trouble is on the heart. Exactly. That's why I always said, like, when it comes to relationships, um, it gets to a point where it's like, yeah, y'all married, but now it's like y'all just married out of convenience. You're not married because y'all genuinely love each other. You're married to each other because it's convenient. You got three hots and a cot. Y'all basically roommates. Y'all not hunching. And that's why I'm like, that's another thing. That's why a lot of people, gays and the straights, because we're not just gonna put this all on the gays. They're more for the open relationships, and it works because it's like, I love you. We have this deep connection that we'll never get rid of. But when it comes to intimacy in other ways, I'm just willing to go out and clap somebody's cheeks for a couple of hours and come back to the relationship. And why not? Not Jayla and her, not Jennifer and her exes. Okay, well look, quiet as it's kept. I was going to clubs when I wasn't of age either. He said, according to Coffee and Colts video on Justin, and she's more tapped into the lesbian grapevine. Not you spelling it lesbian. They need to legal. Yes, they do. Especially here. Look, they get health care and stuff in Belgium, or is it Denmark? I always get messed that up on where it actually is. But it was like, yeah, they get health care, they get leave, they get medical leave, or what is it, like family leave and all those other, so they get all kinds of benefits if you a hooker out in Belgium. I'm like, well, shit, maybe I need to take up prostitution and move out there. They take care of their people out there. But you know, there's such a shame around sex work, especially in the United States, because they want to turn this into like some Christian nationalist nation. They didn't know I was 15. Most clubs didn't card in the early 90s. Well, yeah, and now, you know, they big on that now. So you said you went to your first club in 91. I was way too young to be up in the club at 91. I wasn't getting up in there. I looked like I was 8 in 1991. So I knew I wasn't getting up in no club. Could you imagine dumping Amber Rose or Kim Kardashian? I think you do them, or at least a Tetley teabagging. Not a Tetley. Well, look, they have been dumped. Look, Amber Rose got dumped for Cher by Alexander Edwards. And who hasn't ran through Kim? But anyway, let's get into speaking of looking ran through. Wait, you know what? I'll take that back. Let's move on. Let's talk about Serena Williams, who was under fire for being accused of bleaching her skin chair. So I was like, what happened? Oh, I got it. So Serena Williams is adamantly denying that she's made major changes to her appearance after a recent video of the retired tennis superstar went viral, saying speculation she lightened her skin is BS. Now, during an Instagram live session, Williams addressed the rumors directly. Now, I do have a clip of her speaking on it. And so we're going to play that clip, and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
For you haters out there, I do not bleach my skin. There is a thing called sunlight. And in that sunlight, you get different colors. And if I'm not posting and recorrecting my pictures and posting from my daughter's, what is it? She had a play that I was volunteering on and had stage makeup on. Yes, I'm calling you out on this because it is ridiculous that everyone's like, oh, she bleached her skin. I'm a dark Black woman and I love who I am and I love how I look. And that's just not my thing. And if people do it, that's their thing and they have every opportunity and they should. I don't judge, but you guys do. But that's what this world is about. And I stay in my lane, the non-judgy one, and I keep it. But no, I actually don't bleach my skin. So can we just like kind of clear that up for you haters out there? I do not bleach my skin.
Okay. So she basically is letting everybody know that she doesn't bleach her skin, but I don't know. It's just if you're not bleaching your skin, then what you need to do is fire your damn stylist. Because when you out here, or wait, let me mute this because yeah, when you out here looking very much, if I were the king of the forest, like when you out here looking like the cowardly lion chair, and with these horrible looking wigs and the crazy skin and the beat face and the makeup not matching your skin tone, then your people out here got you looking crazy. And it did feel very much like doth we protest a little bit too much. And so that's what it was kind of giving. And yeah, you are giving the cowardly lion tease when it comes to the way that they beat in your face. Now, I know that people make comments about Serena Williams and featureism and the fact that say that she looked like a man and she's not attractive. And the case says, look, Black women have strong features and she is not an ugly girl. But it does look like at times, like based off, because, people said the same thing about Nene Leakes. She out here got looking like her nose looking a little swordfish-ish. Her nose is looking like a swordfish, basically. And she's talking about it's the contouring. And so when you have all this other stuff, it's like whoever is beating her face, and this is why I don't understand why, I don't know. I need to know if her MUA, makeup artist, is Black, because if they're not, a lot of times, this is what happens. I don't understand why y'all don't be out here hiring Black makeup artists to beat y'all face, because they would understand what the skin tone, and we've heard this many times in Hollywood, the overall complaints that a lot of Black performers or people who are in the industry have about the lack of Black hair people on sets, Black makeup artists on sets, and she doesn't work on a set. This is somebody who is married to a rich white man and has a lot of her own coins that she could afford to go and get a referral, I was going to say a reference, a referral to someone who understands how to do Black people's hair, how to do Black women's makeup, and have you out here looking, I was like, what's the damn word? Looking presentable, basically. There's no excuse as to why they got you out here looking like you about to ease on down the road. There should be no reason for that. So, shout out to you, Serena. She had to come out here and let everybody know that she's not bleaching her skin. And now that we look at it, in this natural photo of her, I'm sure she got some clear makeup or whatever the case is on. But looking at her in the pictures, like, yeah, we could definitely see she's not bleaching her skin or whatever. But this is the overall argument that they're going with. They basically say, and I don't know if it got anything to do with the lighting, because even if you put on like the darkest of pancake of makeup, we're not saying that you gotta look like how that picture we had of RuPaul up yesterday. We ain't saying you gotta look that crazy with that bad makeup job that they did on RuPaul when we was doing that segment about the things that drag queens need to get rid of as we go into 2025. But for the most part, it's like you would not be looking like a white woman. Well, you would not be looking like some not a white chicks, and blaming it on the damn lighting from outside. You would not with the makeup if you had the right makeup people beating your face. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to Serena? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I was like, wait a minute, why is Bad Bunny trending? Like, I've seen a whole bunch of things trending on the Twitter. It said, they said, Wild Taylor Swift. You got Leah, probably, from Love Island. Cowboy Carter's trending. Vardy trending. Oh, yeah, Snow White with Gal Gadot. Did y'all see that damn trailer? First of all, that Snow White movie is going to flop. That movie looked terrible. And as much as I like Gal Gadot, that is a pretty girl, but who keeps giving her parts? Who keeps giving her jobs? She cannot act to save her damn life. I like Gal Gadot, but girl, every time I hear her talk, she just sounds like some girl, some Israeli chick. Like even down to the voice when she was playing Wonder Woman, it just basically you sound like like you was giving Israeli accent. You wasn't giving them mascara. But anyway, so oh yeah, I read that one. It said they both got dumped by Kanye. Okay. There are no clubs in New York anymore. No, not really. It's just a lot of spots, like little bars and establishments and things. There's a lot of parties and stuff that goes on. But as far as like clubs, those days are gone. I mean, you can't chill. And if there's somebody out here call Boxers a damn club, it's like Boxers ain't no damn club. They turn it into one. But Boxers ain't no club. I miss like clubs. I miss like Splash, and even though it wasn't a club, I do miss XL, the original one, the one that they shot Sex in the City at, not the one that they moved out in New York City, where they did when I did the media thing for RuPaul's Drag Race. There's a lot of spots that I miss that they don't have anymore, and now it's just and it could have been because of that idiot Giuliani when the whole cabaret license drama and all of that. And you said her husband wants her this way. Wait, is who married? Kim? Oh, we talking about Serena Williams? No. Oh yeah, Serena. Oh, you talking about yeah, Serena Williams married to a white man. Not that is a big deal because I'm not gonna windmill on somebody because they are into an interracial relationship, but you know, but some people was thinking that is that because she's married to a white man that he's infiltrating her brain and she's doing that, she's probably doing that weird makeup and all that other stuff and trying to look a little, changing up her features and all that other stuff. So people are thinking that that's what that's always going to be the main thing that they jump into as an excuse of, we lost another one to a white man. But I'm like, wait a minute, but where was all that energy when Serena was dating a lot of black men that was doing her dirty, Common being one of them. And let's not forget about Drake, because there was another one she was really dating him too. All the shootings at rap concerts destroyed the club scene. Well, yeah, I blame Diddy. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about the View chair who Whoopi had to go in on Alyssa Farah Griffin for calling out Biden for pardoning his son, Hunter Biden, which feel a ways about. I'm not mad at him for pardoning, but if you're gonna lie, just admit that you lied. So moderator Whoopi Goldberg kicked off the show on Monday by pointing out that Donald Trump's long list of past pardons, including Michael Flynn, Roger Stone, and let's not forget Jared Kushner's father, who did some despicable stuff, which was he basically set up his sister's husband with a prostitute, recorded the whole situation, blackmailed his sister with the drama to keep her from testifying. That's how low down they are over there. But you want to get on Joe Biden about pardoning his son. The only problem I have with this whole situation is that the way Whoopi Goldberg approached it. But let me finish, because I want to give you all a little bit of that. So they said, but conservative panelist Alyssa Farah Griffin had much to say as the lone member of the panel criticizing Biden's decision. saying that's what presidents do every time. They do it every time. They pardon somebody. So I'm not sure why the pearl clutching is happening now. This is what Goldberg said before Griffin shared her personal ties to the matter, opening up about an immediate family member in and out of jail over addiction issues who is still attempting to get their record expunged in pursuit of fair employment opportunities. Saying most Americans, if they face consequences for actions that they took, they're going to have to face them. And nobody powerful and politically connected is going to come sweep in and save them. This is what Griffin observed. This feeds the notion that to a lot of the country that there's simply a different set of rules for those in power. Well, sis, are you slow? Because where have you been? Like, maybe y'all just now coming to this conclusion, but we've always said this. And I don't think that it's Biden that started all this. Do we need to bring up Bill Clinton and his brother? Roger was out here selling drugs to an undercover cop. He wound up giving him a expungation and pardoned his brother. So they've all been doing it. And don't even get me started like the long list of criminals that Trump has pardoned over the years, during his first term. So they all abuse their power. And Biden does the same thing. But I feel like the real thing that y'all need to be mad at, and y'all should be worrying about pardons and things, why are we not mad at the overall genocide that Biden has partaken in of the people of Gaza? Why aren't we all windmilling and being pissed off about that? Because it doesn't fit the certain narrative of your show. Or wait, y'all don't want to get suspended like Whoopi Goldberg did when she made that what was considered an anti-Semitic comment. So now, I would have played y'all the clip, but here's the thing. Y'all know when it comes to network television and stuff, if I played y'all this video, it would have gotten flagged and I would not have been able to monetize the episode. So I'm like, I'm just going to have to read y'all the tea. So Griffin, who previously worked for Trump's communications team at the White House, also criticized Biden and his associates for lying about his intentions to pardon his son, with both Biden and White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre repeatedly denying that he would pardon Hunter. Well, and then she says, I felt bad for Karine Jean-Pierre, Griffin said, of the handful of incidences in which Jean-Pierre was forced to deny that Biden would pardon his only surviving son. This is why people don't trust Washington. This is why they don't trust politicians. I know a lot of us like Joe Biden, but I find it disappointing and bad for our institutions. Girl, really? Like, get off your moral high horse with that. And sidebar, you think this is the reason why we don't trust Washington with all this other junk going on? Like, there's been many cases. Why haven't we approved the Medicare for everybody? Like, you go to other countries, they all have universal health care. This is the only country where we don't have that. And then talk about pre-consisting conditions and all this other mess when that's another damn scam. So y'all all about trying to treat us like cattle and make money off the backs of us. This is why a lot of people hope and pray they don't get sick. Because it's like you got to damn near give away an organ or something or donate sperm to be able to afford to pay your medical and stuff. Like you got, what the hell is it? James Vanderbeek having to sell Varsity Blues memorabilia to pay for his cancer treatment. That was a story I was going to bring up on the show, but I'm like, you know what? It works in this situation. What about raising the minimum wage? Didn't he run on that and said y'all was going to do it? You haven't raised it yet. And I don't think it's going to be raised with the next administration. But the fact of the matter of y'all being shocked about him lying, and let's get to that, because apparently when Alyssa got to the fact of saying that Biden lied, that apparently rubbed Whoopi Goldberg the wrong way. But don't feel bad for Karine Jean-Pierre. She is the communications. She's the press secretary. Their job is to just try to keep things copacetic. So when they tell her that she's supposed to say something, she got to go with it. But who you need to be mad at is not the press secretary. She's just doing her job. Just be mad at the person that's telling her, that got the battery in her back telling her what to say. Because that's basically what a press secretary is. You the puppet, basically, the spokesperson for the president. Like a publicist, almost. So I felt bad for, so then Sunny Hostin, who previously worked, one of the people in the comments said they don't like her. But I was like, join the club chat. So they said Sunny Hostin, who previously worked as a prosecutor, and she always got to remind us that was her former job, especially when she used to prosecute sex crimes. She always got to let us know that. And also related to having members of her family incarcerated and slapped with that felon label, said that she felt that Biden's son wouldn't have been prosecuted if his last name were different. And people need to realize that the only reason why Trump and those people went after Joe Biden's son, it was an act of revenge because they were going in and investigating Donald Trump at the time, which the judicial system dragged their feet on the entire damn time. And we all know the reason why Trump ran for office is not because he gives a damn about the country and the people. He knew the right buttons to press and the right things to say to get people on his side. But he only ran to keep his ass out of jail. And it worked because people got short-term memories. So he managed to con his way back into the White House a second time. And people fell for it. But you know what? A lot of y'all that voted for him, I don't know why y'all so mad and y'all want to windmill and fight whenever we try to tell y'all the truth about stuff. But y'all gonna learn when it comes to them tariffs and all that other mess, the real tea, you gonna feel it. But they'll find a way to blame it on the previous administration. So then they said that so many people who have committed this crime do not get prosecuted. Imagine the guilt Joe Biden has to live with, thinking that his son, his only surviving son, is getting prosecuted because he is his son. This is what Anna Navarro added before speaking directly to Biden's son. Hunter, your dad has given you a great, great gift, the gift of freedom. Well, but I think in that way is that, but how does somebody learn if you're going to continue to bail them out of situations? Because it's like, you talking about, oh, I've given you a gift. That ain't no damn gift. He need to be on his feet, on his knees thanking his father. And I think it's because I don't think Joe had the best relationship with Hunter. Hunter was always like and I guess in so many ways, the black sheep of the family. He was somebody that was always getting caught up in things. Isn't he the same one that also slept with his damn brother Bo's wife? So Hunter was a POS in a lot of situations. And when it comes down to that, he did some unforgivable things, but I understand when you're getting up there in age, you don't want to be still holding burdens and things. I just hope that Hunter don't F this up because we already know, like, come day one, they're talking about that. I mean, they had that fucking dude, I forget his name, that they were just talking about. They're trying to get him over to be the head of the FBI, and he's already talking about he's going after media or anybody that went up against Trump. This is all they want to do. It's not even about, okay, so what exactly are you doing for the country? No, I'm putting people in place that are going to go after people who are my enemies. Like I feel like I'm watching an episode of 24. That's what I feel like I'm stuck in. A 4-year episode of 24 that we're about to walk into. Where's Jack Bauer? Get him on the line. Now, Griffin still pushed back, however, and said that while she understood why Biden as a parent, I got to keep interjecting in between because I will forget my overall thoughts. So they said Griffin, while pushing back, however, still pushed back and said that while she understood why Biden as a parent would pardon his son, she couldn't help but wonder why he would lie about it for so long. Goldberg continued to monitor the spirited debate, urged her co-star not to frame it as lying, despite Griffin doubling down that the move would set a dangerous precedent. She said, it's a precedent for all of us to open our eyes because we've elevated someone who was in a similar situation, who didn't have a drug problem, who knew what he was doing. And this is what Goldberg responded, referencing Trump's election. I think Biden had no intentions of pardoning Hunter. I think that more stuff went down. He said, why am I busting my behind and stay straight and do this when no one else is doing it? Well, I think she has a point to that. And I have to say that, you know what? Two things can be true at the same time. Biden did lie and say he wasn't pardoning his son. He changed his mind when you initially said you weren't. Now he is pardoning him. But we know why he's doing it is because of the stuff that Trump has been saying for the past couple of weeks in regards of what he's planning on doing on day one. His first day gonna be real busy, apparently, because he got a lot of vendettas. He gotta pass out. So yes, he lied. Why can't we call it that? That's what it is. But the problem is with the clucking hens over at The View, they want to present a certain narrative. Republicans bad, Democrats good. Democrats could do no wrong, but especially when it comes to Whoopi Goldberg and Joy. They are so deep in the Democratic silo, it's unsettling. Anna Navarro is a flip-flopper, so sometimes I could take her and leave her Sonny worked my root canal nerve at times. I'm like, girl, take the stick out your ass because you just be a little too uppity for me. And Alyssa is just your typical conservative that sometimes just be afraid to come out and say what you want to say. And then, Sarah goes where the wind blows. So if y'all really thinking that y'all gonna get some real political tea from these girls, y'all are watching the wrong damn shows. As I said earlier, there's a lot of shows that I tend to watch. Like, I love Savvy Sabs. Who the hell called me so many damn times? Oh, it's like somebody was calling me like crazy. But when it comes down to it, I have like my political shows that I watch. I watch Tennessee Brando. I watch Brian Tyler Cohen. I watch oh damn, what was Breaking Points is another great show that I tend to watch. So there's a lot of really good political shows. I think I told you I watch Savvy Sabs. So yeah, there's a lot of great political pundits that are out here saying the things that a lot of these other shows won't tell you. I'm not necessarily saying that you gotta just because when y'all sit up here and talk about Joe Rogan and all these other people, there are Democratic or liberal leaning, but they're more progressive in a lot of their views. And what I love about a lot of these shows is that they're not afraid to. And Luke Beasley, he's another one that I like watching as well. A lot of them when they come out, they're hitting both sides. They're not necessarily just going, oh well, Republicans are evil or MAGA people, or as I call them now, because the Republican Party is dead. When you got Republicans like Liz Cheney and all them mingling and hobnobbing with Kamala Harris and her campaign, you look at the Democrats, they're more, what was the term that I use? They're more center-right Democrats. They lean more center-right politically than they are left. So when they run around talking about we're left, the left, left, they ain't shit left about the damn Democrats. Their political beliefs lean more center-right, if y'all have been paying attention. But if you want to talk about Republicans, the Republican Party is dead. The GOP is now the Trump Publicans. That's what I call them, because a lot of y'all just want to get lockstep in whatever this man and his radicalisms and his extremities and all that other stuff. So that's what they're doing over there. So yes, he lied. A politician not lying is like water not being wet. So why is anybody surprised by it? They all lie. They all pull things out their ass. They all do what they got to do to win. We saw how the Republicans did. They said whatever they could say to y'all, but at least they stood, whether you agree with them or not, they stood on something, whether you agree with it or not. Democrats kept flip-flopping. Don't be too woke. Don't do this. Don't do that. We can't say this. You can't do this. You can't do. It's like, well, damn, what do y'all stand on? So that was my frustration with Kamala and her campaign. She started out with a strong campaign. And then you have people online talking about, they were neck and neck. No, the fuck they weren't. They were not neck and neck. Y'all were lied to by MSNBC and CNN. They were not neck and neck. They were lying to y'all with these damn polls. I told you the only poll I think about, or the only poll that is believable in my eyes, is the one that strippers wrap their thighs around. I do not go by polls. Polls are a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of rhetoric. Who are they polling? I ain't never been polled. And a lot of times when you read these polls and you see these polls, they're not giving y'all the real shit. They're not. So stop believing these polls. And even down when it came down to it, they were like, oh, well, we were misinformed. You think? Especially when you look at the CNNs and the MSNBCs, these corporations are run by conservatives. You have liberal people that work in that space, but it ain't run by no liberal person. So when these people run around with these simplistics of left this and right this, it's all a bunch of smoke screens and BS. But I will say this to wrap this whole situation up, because I was never expecting to get into a whole political situation about this conversation. But when I talk about The View, I just get so irritated because it's like the misinformation that they feed people. And I know like my parents are big fans of The View. So they're thinking like, so the one thing I worry at times, you're getting these Cliff Note versions of politics, but you're not really getting the truth being told to you. Because a lot of times they don't know what the hell they talking about when they're up there in that damn table. You're going by whatever your people behind the scenes wrote for you on a damn card. This is why I told y'all the ones that I watched, the Pondering Politics and all these other shows. So now what we're not going to do is hold Joe Biden to a different standard when Trump has pardoned far worse people during his first presidential run. and plans on pardoning far worse people during his second. Like, you talking about pardoning the people from January 6th, the insurrectionists. So what I don't understand, and this is what I feel like the conversation needs to be had, but it's like nobody really wants to have these conversations, and especially on network television. Why is it that Trump Republicans can change their political views in order to fit their narrative, but center-right Democrats have to always take the high road and continue to uphold the law? Why is it that that it always has to be that way? Blame Michelle Obama. When she started that, when they go low, we go high foolishness. Now we in a situation where it's just like people are just scared to say something. And I heard some word on the street that they're trying to get AOC to run for president in 2028. Now, and the funny thing is, I could definitely see that happening simply because when she talked to some of the Trump supporters, she was like, I genuinely want to understand. And I'm like with her in that sense too. Like I told y'all, I spoke to Trump supporters. I was like, when I worked Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden, say what you want about all this political smoke or whatever. Once that dust settled, when I was in the room talking to those people, they were not disrespectful. They were not rude in any way. Some of the people was really nice. I was having conversations with them that we may not agree politically on a lot of things. And I'm sitting there just feeling bad because you're being spoon-fed all this lies and BS because Trump don't give a damn about y'all. But those people, I understood like why they felt the way that they felt in a lot of situations. Now, whatever your beliefs are in regards to like transphobia, homophobia, racism, whatever the case that is, I'll handle that on an individual situation. If you disrespect me in a way, then we'll have that conversation. But for the most part, these people were genuinely cool people when I was working that situation. You can call me radicalized, whatever it is. I'm a realist when it comes to situations. I don't pay attention to that smoke and mirrors and the BS that the media likes to feed people when it comes to these situations. But it would be nice if these shows could have these type of conversations and really just dive deep into why people feel the way that they feel. And I totally understand, like, we're getting back to AOC, because I almost forgot my train of damn thought. Why AOC was like, why did they vote the way that they did? And a lot of them were feeling like, well, because you are kind of similar, I guess, to Trump in a way of like, you say it like you mean it. You're not caught up and bought and paid for and whatever. That's whatever they believe in that. So they feel like because she is progressive in a lot of her beliefs, that you could definitely see her do that. To be quite frank, I'm hearing voices like I'm crazy. I'm hearing word that some people want Jon Stewart to run for president. Unfortunately, we're in a time now where people want celebrities to run our damn country. I blame Ronald Reagan. The minute y'all started doing all of that, look, I'm pointing fingers at a lot of people in this. It was like, look, with the whole Ronald Reagan situation that came about with that, when y'all put an actor in the White House, now we're at a place where it's just like people want celebrities to run the damn country. Well, as long as if you can get a celebrity in it that really understands politics and really want to make the world great, I won't say again, but I'll say make America great, then I guess we'd be here for that. But you got to find somebody with some kind of personality, some type of charm, like this is where our country is right now, unfortunately. Not this whole, boring whatever it is that they want to put out there. And then Kamala Harris, she started out good with her thing, but then her problem was she had Biden's people there. He sabotaged her from becoming president. I don't even think he wanted anybody Democratic to win. He sabotaged the whole situation. So you know what the reason why Trump is president? Because Biden allowed it to happen. Because his arrogant ass wouldn't step to the side and really put somebody up for us to be able to have a Democratic voice, which you should have did. Was have not a black man, have a white, you should have got somebody, a white male, charismatic, not a Gavin Newsom, he's a little too corporate, but like somebody who has a little bit of personality, whatever, and got him in there and spend years ushering him in, similar to what y'all did with Obama. Like Obama spent years campaigning before he became president. That's what y'all need to do with the next time with the Democrats. Let me giving y'all advice because clearly a lot of y'all live in the Democratic Party to know what the hell y'all doing. So that's what y'all should have did in that whole situation. Don't pick a woman. You know what? No shade, but people don't want a black woman running this country. We understand like the backbone and all the statistics, but the reality is white people will vote for somebody who is a convicted felon and one of theirs before they give anybody, a woman of color, power over them. That is the reality. And if y'all can, go argue with your mammy, but I'm telling y'all the truth. I'm telling y'all how people think. I'm telling y'all the reality. They don't want a woman of color, even if she is qualified. Step outside the silo and really read the room. White people do not want to give up their power. They never will. And then some people say, well, what about Barack Obama? He's a man. There's a difference. And there's people that was mad over Obama being president, which would be fall out of why we got Trump. But for the most part, they'll take a black man before they take a black woman or a woman of color. And even if people want to say, well, she's not black, well, she's not a white woman. And I do believe we will get a white woman in the White House, but she will be a conservative before we get a liberal. I'll tell you that. So that's all I got on this story. That's the end of my political corner, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in regards to the whole Whoopi thing, politics, whatever you want to say, all that stuff. Throw it in the comments down below. So that's what I'm well-rounded when it comes to spilling tea on this show. But anyway, so you said kind of hypocritical pardon his son when his crime bill locked up mostly black men for less than. Oh yeah, child. So when people, and the funny thing was when people run around, and this is like me doing more research on things, when people run around and start saying that Joe Biden had a flawless presidency or whatever, I'm like, what planet are y'all on? Because no, he was not a good president. Now, there's been things he's done well in regards of like cleaning up the economy and all the other stuff, but in regards of his stance on Palestine and the Ukraine situation, no. I vehemently disagree on how he handled Palestine. Obama pardoned Marjorie Harvey's ex-husband, who was that's Steve Harvey's wife. Child, a mess. Well, you said Marjorie Harvey, that whore. I was like, not Steve Harvey's wife. When Obama became president, that's when the Republican Party really came out on who they really were. As much as Trump lies daily. Exactly. That's why I was like, we could windmill and we can call two things can be true at the same time. Like, yes, Biden lied, but look, once Trump opened that Pandora's box on the way he was trying to act in certain situations, I was like, why am I having to be the bigger person? Why am I'm like, no, when like I said before, when they go low, I go to the earth's crust. Like I'm not taking the higher road. It's like, okay, this is the game you want to play, okay. Well, I'm pardoning my son. And I'm sure you're gonna pardon far worse people. You said the view cast remind me of the Park Slope liberals who will offer immigrants until a shelter open up in their hood. But that's always the case in a lot of situations. Like, yeah, you offer the homeless and trying to help people, the migrants and this, that, and the other until they open that stuff in your area, then you get mad. But what about the people that have been living in certain areas for a long time, and then y'all want to come in and gentrify the neighborhood and push those people out so that way you can move these uppity rich folk, like these Park Slope folks who you talking about, y'all want to move them in. So I don't like that either. Because I'm hearing that they're trying to gentrify Queens. One of my friends was telling me the other day that live in Elmhurst, one of my close friends, was telling me they're gentrifying Elmhurst and that whole area. They starting to push all the migrants and stuff out in that neighborhood, which was an overall complaint for the people who lived in that area anyway, who were, what's the word? Middle class. I don't know why I couldn't think of that damn word. But middle class folk who live in that neighborhood, because there's a lot of houses and stuff in that area, in Jackson Heights and that sort of thing. They pushing them people out because they starting to gentrify the neighborhood. So here we go. I said, I've been noticing why we getting so many damn 7 trains, because when they start gentrifying neighborhoods, the trains start to come more often. I've noticed. Because they did that when I lived in Harlem. When there was never a dome. Like, I could hang out late at night. There was always a 1 train that was popping up. That's what I loved about, living in the city. You said the TMZ legend O.J. Simpson's ex-bodyguard claims to have recording of O.J. confessing to the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. Minnesota police have said, child, well, look, I can't wait to they verify it, and then we'll get that story and we'll talk about it. I miss the Republican Party when it was Mitt Romney. Hey, Mittens. You said, but the funny part with Mitt Romney, he be flip-flopping. But like I said, all them damn politicians lie. Are they broke up? I mean, quiet as it's kept, I think they've been broken up for a while. I just think they confirmed it because there's been so many rumors floating around for weeks in regards of Sabrina and Barry and them breaking up and all that other stuff. That's another thing too. When you talk about this whole, people who have felonies for weed, like, really? How you in jail for that and got a felony for marijuana? Like, that's not as bad as, like, weed is tame compared to all the other drugs. I mean, if you lace it in with other stuff, I can understand that. That's a whole other story. But for the most part, when you're dealing with weed, we need a presidential candidate who is willing to pardon nonviolent marijuana felons in 2028. All other stuff. Well, I need a Democratic candidate or a presidential candidate that stands on something. Like, what did Kamala Harris actually stand on in her campaign? A lot of the stuff that she was piggybacking off of was already policies that were already in place by Joe Biden. She wouldn't disassociate herself from him. It's like, if he's gone, he done. He ain't running no more. He already got a foot and a half in the damn grave. What are you running on, and why should I vote for you? That is what people need to realize. Like, we already knew, like, Trump ain't had nothing to run on either. But at least with all the stuff that he was saying, it was something. It may have been the answer, but it was a answer. It was something. And that's what people, and that's good enough, apparently, for some people. I just feel like people need to stop thinking in these sort of ways and just stop thinking in hypotheticals and think in reality and just accept and understand the reality of what this is and how do we prevent us from continuously repeating the same dumb historical stuff, which we continue to do. It's kind of like, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. The definition of insanity. You said apparently several ladies are leaving The View. Who do you hope that? Wait, who? Well, I already know officially Whoopi Goldberg starts Annie tomorrow. So, but she ain't going nowhere because she already said on the show that she needs money. So, I think if anybody was to leave, it would either be Sarah Haynes or Alyssa Farah Griffin. Quiet as it kept, Sunny ass need to go. But I don't see Anna Navarro leaving. That's a check for her, and she loves being on TV. I don't think that she would leave. I don't think Joy would ever leave, but Joy is 80-something years old. Until she starts to have a little cognitive situation, I don't see her leaving. And Whoopi Goldberg loves being in that damn seat, moderating and just taking up space. So she ain't going no damn where because she don't really offer nothing as a moderator anyway. Quiet as it's kept. But yeah, I believe Annie, I think Loading is today. Loading was also yesterday because Loading was the Sunday. And then Wednesday, I believe, officially starts the official day of Annie. And I do believe that I am working a couple of the shows because I looked at the time and there's some shows that I got to be, and there's some show times that I'm like, I got to be there 10:30 in the morning. And I'm like, sure, I'm doing the Annie show. And I'm like, wait, I got 2 shifts that I saw this month that it's like, I got to be there early in the morning. And I'm like, unless it's an early Knicks or Rangers game, which there are some, then I'm doing Annie in the theater, which I don't mind. I'm looking forward to seeing the show. And we said, well, the media is going down. And yes, they are. And that's why I was giving y'all a lot of people that I told you that I watch. Sabby Sab, she sound like MC Light when she talk, but she give it to you in regards to like the politics and stuff. So I like watching her show. There's also Beto O'Rourke in talks as well. I think I've seen him around every now and again, but I need to look more into him. You think Mark Cuban should run? I think, you know what? I wouldn't mind Jon Stewart. And if people sit up here and want to make comments, but they're not married. And is Melania Trump going to be in the house when he go back? She talking about she's staying in Florida. So if she don't, if Donald Trump, if he doesn't have to have a first lady being in the White House, see, when y'all start changing rules, you can't just make it like rules only work for this person, but not for this person. And so they said, I told you this before, but I was in a live cut where they were discussing 2028 Democratic nominees, and they were saying not Matthew McConaughey. And it's funny how I said Mark Cuban, and I didn't even read your comment before I asked about the Mark Cuban thing. Not Matthew McConaughey. I like Matthew McConaughey. His ass can stay in Texas. We don't need him running for president. Mark Cuban, I can understand because he's a billionaire and he can't stand Trump, and he also can't stand Elon Musk. So I could definitely see Mark Cuban. Gavin Newsom, not surprised that he would be starting his 2028 campaign. Oh, he does have a whole podcast. I didn't know that. But look, can you imagine like we're gonna start having mayors and governors and stuff having podcasts? Like I wouldn't be surprised Justin Trudeau is gonna have his. Like people in politics, like Gavin Newsom, y'all should not be having podcasts. Y'all shouldn't. Y'all need to be governing. That's what y'all need to be doing. See, governor and mayor, those are, in my opinion, those are the more prestigious jobs. I don't understand why people want to be president. When you're president, you're a puppet to your donors. That's why, honestly, I would rather be mayor of my city or I would rather be governor if I was to ever run for political office. I would never want to run for president. You only gotta get a couple of votes in order to become a governor or president. You said Biden only won because people hated Trump and also COVID-19 because of how he reacted with that. But it's funny how people forgot. Like I lost a lot of friends and stuff to COVID. So it's just sort of like this tit for tat situation. You saw not Harlem is still grimy. Well, yeah, child. Look, in the man, listen, when I was in the subway one time and it was cold and I was going home in Harlem, I remember seeing a guy shooting up in the on the subway platform, and then I see people like sucking on that glass bean, the meth pipe. Which, when we get into Rosie O'Donnell, which is the next story, that there's a situation with that too. So, I do agree with you on that. There is a lot of addicts around there, especially I remember like there was some that was set up like a little. It started looking a little Skid Row-ish on this one block. It's a LA reference, but y'all know Skid Row. And then they would do their little drugs. I was like, yeah. So Harlem is giving that, even though it is gentrified a bit. I do agree that it's got a bit of that griminess to it too, in certain situations. Oh, you said about the live chat. Gavin Newsom destroyed California. So I've heard. And you said the governor of the richest state has a podcast with Marshawn Lynch. Yeah, that's why I said I don't like that. You should not be a governor of California with a damn podcast. You need to be governing. Same thing with Mayor Adams. You need to be mayoring New York City instead of having little sections in the back of clubs and got big booty bitches clapping their cheeks in your damn face while you smoking hookah and drinking. You ain't supposed to be doing all of that. You're supposed to be governing New York City as the mayor. But I can't wait to get his ass out because he don't do nothing either. But get on my damn nerves. But anyway, so we got hold on. So we have 3 more topics left to go in the episode. So if you have not already, if you could please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. It definitely helps with the algorithms and those other stuff. And as I said before, I am going to leave timestamps in this episode once the live stream is over. So that way, if you don't want to hear all the extra, if you're somebody who's watching the playback and doesn't want to hear all the banter and all that stuff that we do throughout the live chat, then you can actually just click over, fast forward to whichever one clips you want to see, and then watch it that way. So there's that. Yeah, I'm trying something new. But anyway, let's get into this Rosie O'Donnell story because 5 days after her daughter, Chelsea Belle O'Donnell, was released from jail, bailed out by her biological mother, by the way. She's been arrested for a 3rd time in 2 months, and she's on bail. She posted her bill and everything, $4,000, and this heifer then got messed up again and got locked up. And you know what? I said that this was going to happen. And I was Team Rosie when she did what she did, but now here we are. Same, back on the roller coaster. So now, according to court documents obtained by Us Weekly, a car was pulled over by police due to loud exhaust in Niagara, Wisconsin on November 18th. Chelsea, who's 27, was one of 2 passengers in the vehicle. The officer noticed that Chelsea had pick marks on her face and asked for well, you know what that's from. Drug use. And asked for any identifying information. Chelsea did not have any ID on hand, but relayed her name and date of birth to the officer per the docs. The officer ran her name and birthday into his system and saw that she was out on bond for drug cases out of Marinette and Oconto County in Wisconsin. Now, Chelsea was previously arrested in September and October and charged with child neglect and drug possession. Now, after running her information, the officer ordered a canine to conduct a sniff of the car, which resulted in a positive alert. Law enforcement ordered Chelsea and the others in the car to exit the vehicle. Now, naloxone, which can be used to reverse the effects of an opiate overdose, was found in the trunk. Now, while searching for weapons on her person, Chelsea removed a clear smoking device from her bra. According to court documents, the device had residue inside, which tested positive for methamphetamine. Now, during the pat-down, Chelsea was deemed argumentative by the authorities and placed in handcuffs behind her back. After calming down and becoming cooperative, the restraints were removed. Now, Chelsea was turned over to the Marinette County Jail, where she was searched for a second time when authorities found that she was hiding a prescription pill bottle. The bottle included a clear bag of crystal-like substance, a clear bag of hydrocodone, 8 loose hydrocodone pills, 16 lamotrigine pills, or trigen, child, these words. It's a tongue twister. I don't know what that is because I don't do drugs. I don't do prescription drugs. I don't even take aspirin. So, as it said, plus 1 whole and 3 halves of alprazolam pills. Now, Chelsea faces 5 charges, which includes 2 felony counts of possession of methamphetamine and an additional felony count of possession of narcotic drugs. She was also charged with resisting an officer and possession of drug paraphernalia, which are both misdemeanors. Now, days before Chelsea's November 18th arrest, she appeared in court on her October arrest. According to docs obtained by Us Weekly, Chelsea was ordered to maintain absolute sobriety while out on bail, which was adjusted. Sorry, and I told y'all what the price was. I said it was $4,000. And they confronted, yeah, that's what she looked like, Chad. Now you know that's the drug addict look. Now they said, and possessing any illegal drugs, drug paraphernalia, and controlled substances without a valid prescription. According to docs, or according to the records, Chelsea appeared in court via video conference on Monday, December 2nd, and is still in custody. Her next court date is scheduled for Thursday, December 12th. Now, we talked about it before, how people got mad at Rosie. Well, I don't know if it may have been the fandom or whatever that was online that was mad at her over not bailing out her child. But the mother of Chelsea's biological mother, bailed her out on a $4,000 bond. And they went on into the press or whatever, was getting mad at Rosie for not bailing her out. Why the hell would I bail my child out when she's got years of sobriety issues? It's the same thing like what Nene Leakes said about Bryson. It's like, you know what? I have forced this child many a times to go into rehab. I have forced her to try to do things to get better and get clean. But you have to realize at the end of the day, they have to be the one to hit that rock bottom in order to make that change. I could show them the door. They're the one that has to walk through it, in the words of Morpheus from The Matrix. So sometimes it has to get to that point, and Chelsea has not learned her lesson. It's like, I spent all this. Now, I wonder if the mother learned her damn lesson. You sitting there and spending $4,000 to bail this girl out, and 5 days later, she back locked up. So what lesson did she learn from this? That anytime I pop my little lip, or whatever the case is, that I'm going to get what I want, and y'all going to bail me out of a situation, I'm going to go right back to sucking on that glass pipe, or taking these prescription medications, and be out here looking like shit run over twice, and smelling like, landfill? So you think that me doing all that? No, you need the tough love. Like my mother told me, if I ever gotten in trouble, you do the crime, you do the time. You staying in jail. I'm not bailing you out. And I carry that same motto. It's like, you know what? I can help you, but so much. But if you're not willing to be the change and make those changes in your life to get better, I'm sorry, but it's the tough love. And sometimes you got to learn it. I'm not bailing you out. I'm not going to keep spending money on you for you to just go back and do the same damn thing over and over again. So I feel no ways tied about Rosie not bailing her child out of jail. Because sometimes you got to learn. And her ass go out and stay in jail until she can come up with that money. Now, if her biological mother want to be a fool again and try to find ways to drum up more money, I don't know what her bail going to be this time. And I'm sure it's not going to be $4,000. But if she want to draw up that money and get her daughter out and help her in whatever way, then you go ahead and do that. You know what they always say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you a damn idiot. So if that's what you want to do, then you go ahead, sis. You keep spending up your good coin, trying to get her out of jail for being an addict. And I understand being a drug addicted and stuff as a disease or whatever the case is. But if she's not willing to make those changes, then what am I supposed to do? I'm not gonna keep wasting my good credit and my good money, my hard-earned money, bailing my child out if you're gonna keep being a mess. So I say, well, this is say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of Rosie's daughter getting locked up again? It's sad because she has, I believe, 4 kids, and they don't have a mother out here. They've got a mother out here who's struggling with addiction. So it's sad on that part. So I feel for her children, especially the new infant who, remember, not too long ago, they found the kid surrounded by filth, dirty Pampers, stink, like there was nasty, rotten food in the fridge. There was drugs, paraphernalia all around the house. And that baby could have got their hands on that and ended up ODing or God knows what. When you got a baby surrounded by drugs because you and your damn boyfriend getting hooked on God knows what and not taking care of the baby that you have. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said, I saw a famous model buy drugs. Oh, I'm feeling very sudden strike. Name them. Put some chapstick on. You amongst friends, nobody's watching. We in private. So who you talking about? Well, you said a famous model was a male or female? I don't think it's Kate Moss. Was it who is it? Gigi Hadid? Oh, you said African. Not Alec Wet. Oh wait, who's the new African chick that I say? I can't remember her damn name. The only Africans I be thinking about is Alec Wet. That's how far back I go with the fashions. Wait, it was? Oh bitch, not Alec Wet. Where's she been? Well, buying drugs apparently. And it's funny, that was my first guess. But anyway. Okay, now we got some sad news, and let's talk about adult content creator Apollo Moon. I found out yesterday that he passed away. We have no idea what exactly he passed away from, but this is the latest news that came out. I should actually Google and see if there's been any kind of an update. But I'll do that in a second. But so the beloved trans mask adult content creator Apollo Moon, known to his friends and family, as Forrest Harrader, had died in LA on Monday. His loved ones confirmed to them, as in the site, them. He was 26 years old. Now, known to his, now it says that his family found out he had been hospitalized on November 27th. So this is, what we know so far. So now they said, as Apollo Moon, he was a prominent and beloved adult content creator with the trans community, which was especially notable as a person of color in a predominantly white space, them reports. Online tributes have poured in from the content creator. Friends of Moon told the outlet that he was a lover of nature and his experience of being trans. Last week, Moon wrote on Twitter, being trans brought me so much joy, and there was nothing in this world that made me happier than sharing that experience with my community. He later added, I wish I could hug every trans person in the world right now and tell them I love them. Now they have a fundraiser on the platform Meal Train, and they have collected so far $12,680 for Moon's family. So I guess maybe they're trying to come up with the expenses and stuff to pay for his funeral. First of all, that was a good looking man. And if I was doing content, I definitely slid up in that coochie. I mean, I know it's like inappropriate to say, but Apollo was a hottie. And I was a fan of his work. Yes, I do watch trans porn. I was like, let me see if there's any updates on that. Because I'm seeing so far. Well, I just see that the earliest, I mean the most recent I see is Daily Mail posted something, and it was 6 hours ago. Oh, I definitely see the article that you was talking about, because now when I popped it open, it's about the whole O.J. Simpson recorded confessing to killing Nicole and Ron Goldman. Chad. Well, we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. But I was like, let's see if there's any more in regarding, because the one thing I hate about Daily Mail, they do whole damn photo shoots. Like, can you get to the article? So what they say, because let's share this one and just come over here and read it as a class. And it was his fine self. But anyway, let's scroll on down. So it says the family updated the page after Moon was pronounced brain dead, writing, "We want to let you know that Forrest's health declined. He has succumbed to his injuries." And, oh wait, hold on. Let me scroll back up, because now I'm like, wait a minute, what brain injury? So they said Moon's family said that he let's go to the beginning. Oh, so they said the cause of death remains unknown. So they also said that Moon's family said he had been hospitalized and put on life support on November 27th. Moon's loved ones created a meager, we already told about the account where they raised the money. So on November 27th, the Harada family received the unexpected and devastating news that their son/brother, Forrest, was hospitalized in the ICU on life support. His parents will be taking an extended leave from work, and they, along with his sister, Risa, can use any and all the support you can give during this difficult time. The page, which provides people with meals, has received over 16,000 donations. So when we talked about it earlier, that's basically like the latest on how much money that he basically made from that story. Okay, so let me put this picture back. Okay, so now it says that our family is devastated. Forrest designated himself as an organ donor, and the hospital will be holding an honor walk, date and time to be determined, in celebration of his life and choice to help others. We appreciate all the love and help during this difficult time. Your donations will help us with his celebration of life. Many in the adult industry community have honored Moon following news of his death. Now, adult performer Gwen Adora wrote, "Devastated to hear the news of Apollo Moon passing this morning. You will be remembered as a trailblazer and a kind and beautiful force in this hard world and industry forever in peace. May you dance among the stars." Now, just days before his death, Moon wrote on X, "Being trans brought me so much joy, and there's nothing in this world that made me happier than sharing that experience with my community." Now, in October, Moon announced that he was leaving the industry after it took a toll on his mental health. "When I started my career in 2020, I was excited and loved it. Over the years, it took a toll on my mental health. My financial and mental health came reliant on how others view and put worth on my body. I love the community, and I was able to build, and I'm grateful for my co-performers for being," I'm like, co-performer, I think they meant to put a dash there. Child, y'all need to proofread before y'all hit send, Chad. But anyway, so it said, "And I'm grateful for my co-performers for being such supportive people of me." So like I said, I was a fan of um Apollo's work. And it's sad to hear that he's no longer with us. Now, I'm hoping it's not what I think it is, that he didn't take his own life, because he said that it was something that was based off of, it took a toll on his mental health and all that stuff. And I totally understand that, because you hear so many stories from adult performers who say that, yeah, when they get in this line of work, it definitely does take a toll on you in regards to your mental health. The amount of work that you're putting your body through to even make the content, and the consistent always having to feed the algorithm and feed the beats and have the new content coming in, and working with people and dealing with those attitudes with the other people you're collaborating with. Like, it's a lot of drama. Plus, after you've done shooting your stuff, there begins the part of, and it's very similar to what I do over here. As soon as I'm done with this show, you have to edit. You cut clips in certain things, you add things in, you take things out, there's a lot of work that goes in it, and then you're promoting the work that you're doing. So it's an endless cycle. And then you have to deal with, and I'm sure that this is what he was saying, it was dealing with his mental health. You have to deal with the naysayers. You have to deal with the people online who are criticizing your work, especially, when it's like when you're a trans male, and how there's another situation where they have a problem with men doing work with trans men. And I'm like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with a gay guy or someone who is sexually fluid, pansexual, whatever you want to call it, doing content with a trans male? if I was someone who was making adult content, I would not turn down having sex with a trans man. I mean, yeah, I guess the difference is they got a vagina because you can't formulate that into a penis. But the fact of the matter is, the exterior is you give man. You got the pecs, you got the exterior of what I'm attracted to, which is a male. So I'm gonna hit it if I ever came across like if the opportunity ever presented itself for me to sleep with a trans man. It's not a fetish thing. It's just if there's an attraction there, and I'm attracted to a guy, and it just so happens you to be trans, I'm not gonna be like, well, oh, you have a vagina, ill. I'm gonna turn you away. Like I would never do that. It's just the attraction. I'm attracted to the physical, the exterior. So, and I've had sex with women before. So, my peen has been inside some pussy. I was like, pussy. But all jokes aside, heart and my condolences and goes out to Apollo's family. So fortunate, so young, and we lost him at such a young age. And so anything that develops in regards to this story, I'll definitely let you guys know. But let me know what you guys think in regards to this story in the comments down below. Okay, so yeah, there's that. I was like, oh, there's a couple of stories that I'm seeing like, well, I'm definitely gonna have to get those ready for tomorrow's show. Because like between the OJ Simpson thing and Rosie O'Donnell breaking her silence in regards to her daughter being arrested for a third time. So I already know I'm gonna be I got more topics to deal with. It's never a dull moment over here in this show. We messy over here. But we also give advice. And we're practical with it. But anyway, let's get to what the comments saying. You said lock her up and take away the kids. Oh, you talking about Chelsea? Mm-hmm. He said, I heard that's why Diego Sanza and others voted for Trump to ban sex work, to not work with trans. Well, that's stupid. If you really think so, you're willing to hurt your own. And this is what I don't understand with the mentality. Y'all willing to destroy the thing that makes you a living in order to hurt someone else. Like, I never understand that. Like, in this mentality of, well, I climbed up the ladder, so now I want to burn it behind me because I don't want nobody else to come in. That's selfishness, the overall selfish mentality. And it's like, look, if you are someone who is, and trust and believe, we do have this phobia or this over this bigotry where gay men are real nasty and disgusting the way they treat trans people. I have a lot of trans friends, so I have no issues or qualms. My thing is live and let live. So it's like if you cool with me, I'm cool with you. And that's the way. I don't care what your gender, your sexual orientation, your race, any of that stuff. I can be friends with anybody as long as you ain't crazy and you ain't trying to do something where it's going to harm or hurt me in any way. I could be friends with anybody. So I don't understand, if you have a problem with trans people, it's kind of like when people have a problem with gay marriage. If you got a problem with gay marriage, don't marry a gay person. If you got a problem with trans people doing sexual content, don't do sexual content with trans people. If that person over there wants to do the content with them, let them do it. What they got to do with you is not hurting your pocket. That money's not, it's not affecting you. So I don't understand why, these idiots, like these white appearing Latinos vote the way that they vote or act the way that they act. And child, don't even get me started on that parasite Hilton. Yeah, I changed his name because his name is Perez Hilton, but I call him Perezite Hilton. Who was over there with that they them shit, and then going to sit up here and talk about, but isn't that the same, like, and comparing it to Rachel's Dolezal pretending she was black. Like, this white presenting, Eric Stoltz looking heifer from The Mask bastard really fixing his mouth to equate non-binary people using they them pronouns to Rachel Dolezal cosplaying as a black woman. Like, is this clown serious? But why are we surprised that a Cuban from a homosexual Cuban from Miami who looked white and decided to adapt a white person's name because it's a play on Paris Hilton, obviously, would say something that damn dumb? And you too big, and you too old at your big age of 46 to be even thinking like and be saying that. But anyway, people make assumptions about how trans people have sex as if we don't have a range of junk positions, preferences, because they've never slept with one. That's probably why they're making those assumptions. But anyway, speaking of trans, let's get into Dragula. And let's give a shout out, child. If y'all haven't seen it, sorry, spoiler alert. But let's give a huge congratulations to Asia Consent, who became the first Black trans woman to be crowned the sixth drag supermonster. Now, when I watched this episode, was it the only one that gagged when I didn't realize that Asia Consent was Black? Because I knew like she had to have a little something. Like she looked white. She is very much white presenting, but there are some features up in here where it's like, okay, we could definitely see that you have some woman of color isms up in you. But I never thought that she would have said she was half Black. But I was actually glad that she won. I mean, I like Asia Consent, but I also, I like Grey Matter, Auntie M, and Auntie Ann, and Auntie Ann. I was like, but I like, first of all, Grey Matter, no shade, was a trade of the season. I was like, oh, he cute. But I'm glad Asia Consent won. To be honest, any of the three could have won, and I would have been okay with it. But overall, I'm not shocked or surprised that Asia won. I know, like, but then people gonna say, okay, at what point are we gonna have a cis male or whatever win the show? And it always, because every time I turn around, y'all giving it to the trans girls. But I'm like, because we had Landon Cider, then we had oh my god, I forgot the Asian chick name that won last season. And now we have this year Asia. But I'm like, look, y'all need to step y'all pussy up. If y'all want to win. It's not always about, well, because the person is trans, or we have to just keep giving it to them. But anyway, so according to Peak News, they had this story. Shout out to them. So Asia Consent has been crowned the winner of Dragula Season 6, snatching the blood-soaked trophy in an equally blood-soaked finale. Oh yeah, I do love at the end whenever you win. It's like they had the sparks. I don't know if they do it like RuPaul's Drag Race, where they film it 3 times. And then they all get like the carry treatment, which is like, you have like the sparks coming out in the background. Like, oh, excuse me, that you're the winner. And then you step up to the thing and now prance, whatever. And then the blood comes down very carry style. I don't know if they do that to all of them, but I'm like, that would be epic if they did it to all 3 of them in regards to doing the show. Or they just already made the decision back then and that's what it was. But nevertheless, I thoroughly enjoyed the show this season. But anyway, so they said that for the last task of the season, the 3 remaining monsters, Auntie Heroine, Asia Consent, and Grey Matter, were challenged to summon forth the most depraved fantasies with 3 looks embodying the tenets of the franchise, which would be filth, horror, and glamour. Now, I will say this. Out of all the horror stuff, I will say Asia gave it to me in all 3. I loved her glamour look, but I also loved the filth. Filth is like, see, this is why I love alternative drag, but I'll tell you, I would never do Dragula because I cannot be doing I'm not eating nothing out no toilet. I know it's all like performative and it's not like you're really pulling the divine and you're actually eating poop like they were assimilating in the movie and in the show. So they do all this other stuff because it's all performance, but I couldn't get gross like that. I could do like horror glam, stuff and makeup. And if I was to ever do drag, I would do this type of drag. This would be like more or less up my alley. That's why I love Dragula more than, I watch Drag Race because it's RuPaul. But for the most part, Dragula is more or less up my alley because my mind is very much twisted into horror and more alternative in that way. So, I did like the idea what they did where they had the 3 looks. But I actually like Auntie Heroine, to be honest. Auntie Heroine was cute, but I definitely like Grey Matter stuff more, and I definitely loved Asia Consent. That's why I was just like, something about Asia Consent is just she was just like a good queen, in regards to like competitor this season. So I'm not surprised that she won. Now they said the Boulets also dropped in a few extras while with the title of winner, $100,000, which is 79,000 pounds. No, the Brit kind of coin. A lifetime. I wonder how much is 25,000 pounds. British people, if y'all on the line, because how much is oh wait, it's 25,000 pounds, 25,000 pounds. But how much would that be in US dollars in regards of with UK because Drag Race UK, they finally started giving them money over there. So I was wondering like how much is that? Or maybe I should ask how much is that in US dollars? Because if $100,000 is 79 pounds, how much is 25,000 pounds in US dollars? Get in the chat. If I have my UK people up in here. So it's a lifetime of special effects makeup from Ben Nye and a merch development deal with PEG. Now shout out to PEG because I've been to these I actually haven't been to their new studio, but I've been to their old stomping ground. When I first moved to LA, like I went to PEG and they have a lot of clients, Alaska and there's a lot of queens from Drag Race who are part of PEG. And so now we got a Dragula girl up in there. So now the trio walked the three categories with Asia presenting a feces-covered filth look, a possessed and distraught diva for her horror turn, and a skeleton-encased gown for glamour. Yeah, I like that. I like the glamour look the most out of all of them. But the filth look was gross. And then she was eating out of the toilet. And though Gray and Auntie similarly ate the runways to varying degrees, Asia was announced as the first Black trans winner of the show. Asia from Portland, Oregon, then took part in the customary Dragula winners tradition, getting a bucket of blood dropped on her head a la Carrie. Now, she landed in the bottom once and won 3 challenges during her run, including in the season premiere and final competitive episode, the most of the final trio. And so I will say this, the one thing I definitely loved about the last extermination before the finale was Yuri's extermination, who was actually, speaking of Drag Race, she was from Drag Race Down Under. And then we had James Majesty Quit, who's known by Majesty, and Drag Race Down Under. Like I said, Yuri. I loved their extermination. How they got on the plane in New Zealand, and then the plane blew up. So it was like showing them, they packed up their stuff, very much like Drag Race. They got on the plane, and also the mask, and then all of a sudden the plane blows up, so everybody died. It was very Final Destination. So I actually loved that extermination. I think out of all the exterminations, that was the funniest. But I was wondering, are they going to do like a reunion type thing? I actually hope they don't. And the only reason why I hope that they don't do a reunion is because I felt that a lot of the drama on the show was created. I felt like it was contrived. It didn't feel real and authentic. So if they're like reading a script or whatever the case, it just didn't feel authentic to me. So I was like, we don't need a reunion. I just felt like just stick with the competition. We don't need the drama unless it's like real drama that was going on. And I just love, then I'll be cool with a reunion. But I just feel like the show is done. We can move on. I definitely love, and also shout out to the Boulets because the show has come a long way. I remember at one point, like they didn't get picked up on any of the networks. So shout out to Hey Queen, who took a chance on them. They were a little YouTube show when Vanderpump Odd was the season 1 winner. And it was just like this little YouTube show. And then it went to Prime, and then it got picked up by Shudder. And I think Shudder is the perfect place for Dragula to be, because we just seen it become this little engine that could, and it just became this great thing. So look, I hope to get to a place where I could be like similar to the Boulets and have a show of my own that I get to create and put it out there, and it gets picked up, and then it becomes this big thing. So I just love how they went about their thing, because versus Drag Race, where Drag Race came in as, they spent years trying to get picked up until a little network called Logo came along and was like, you know what? We're trying to build this franchise. RuPaul is someone who is known within the queer circle. So let's give the show a chance on this little network. And it just blew up and became this global phenomenon that it is today. And now that Logo is just, a channel full of damn old reruns of shows, now we have the show is now on MTV. And now it's become this big thing that what it is. So I love the way that more of the approach of where the Boulets went. And now we're at a place now where you don't really need a network to launch a show. You can go to like streaming services are hungry for shows. Somebody give me some money so I can put a show together, a competition series. I got one about some strippers, male strippers. So let me know what you guys think. Did y'all see did you see the finale of Dragula? What were your overall thoughts? Do you think that Asia Consent was the right queen that the Boulets chose? I'm not mad at it. Like I said, if any of the 3 that was in the top would have been picked, I wouldn't be mad, because I like gray matter. I like Auntie Heroin, and I definitely loved damn, I forgot her damn name. Just that quick, Asia Consent. So I was like, this was a strong top three. So I'm not mad with who they chose. And so I'm looking forward to seeing more of Miss Asia out on the drag performer circuit. So especially because I think what may have caused her to win too, not only with her looks, is because the comment she made regarding trans women who do alternative drag, especially if you're a trans woman of color. And she even put that as the icing on the cake. And to be honest, I really wish there was a space that represented and celebrated alternative drag and not just being about being glamorous and wearing like old school gowns and breastplates and all that other stuff. That yeah, we should celebrate that. And you know what? There are places that do celebrate it. Brooklyn, New York. I mean, she's from the Midwest, so it's different out there. But in New York, we definitely celebrate all different aspects of drag. Not necessarily in Hell's Kitchen and all the other parts of Manhattan. But if you come to Brooklyn, sis, if you do $3 bill or any of those spots out in Brooklyn, trust and believe they will welcome you with open arms and the type of drag that you do. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. So I'm glad Ezra was. That's why I said somebody from the the UK. So I was like, yeah, I got Ezra. Shout out to you, because I knew you would do the math. You said 25,000 pounds equals 31,000. Yes, that was the question. Because I was like, how much is 25,000 pounds in American dollars? Because that's how much the girls was getting for Drag Race UK this season. Because, they wasn't giving them money before. It was a damn Rupita badge. They wasn't even getting money. So, $31,000. Okay, still not a lot. 25,000 pounds, still not a lot. Especially after taxes. But I guess they got to start out small. RuPaul originally originally declined to do Drag Race when it was pitched in the early 2000s. The Obama movement inspired him to finally say yes. Well, that's crazy. That I would have been like, I would have been did. But you know what? Everything in its time, and maybe they probably thought about doing Drag Race in the 2000s because wasn't that the boom of like America's Next Top Model and those type of shows and Project Runway? Like those shows were big at that time. So in a way, I'm kind of glad that she waited 9 years later to do this show. It came at the right time. He said the Creep Tapes is a massive hit for Shudder. They even admit it would flop on Netflix. That's why Shudder is trying to talk to Dan Dancing. Wait, who's that saying? Oh, you talking about the creator of Chucky or Child's Play, saying Chucky would get renewed a lot on Shudder because, well, the thing is, do they have the budget to be able to what they when well no, it's not Blue Peter badge, it's Rue Peter. RU Peter badge. So but I guess that's what it's a riff off of. So yeah, they have that's what they giving them, Rue Peter badges over there. But yeah, the Blue Peter badge, I understand is a UK thing. But yeah, they always try to do a play off of other stuff. So, but yeah, I do agree that I feel like if Chucky was to go to Shudder, it would definitely do well there. I mean, to be honest, I would watch it. And I feel like Shudder needs to get into the space of more original programming. And I think slowly but surely they are. Like I just think that it just needs time to really get going. I mean, quiet as it's kept, they got way more better content over there than Screambox. Screambox, I've been paying for it and I'm not even watching it, and I need to get rid of it because it's like everything on there is just not good. But Shudder has a lot of really good movies on there, and if I ever want to watch other scary films, like some deep dive, like some deep cuts, I could just go to Tubi. Damn, I almost forgot the name of the damn streaming service. Tubi got some good stuff on there. And they got some like like some old 80s movies. They got really good picks. So I do agree that it needs to go over there, but the problem is, would they be able to get? I mean, who owns the license to Chucky? Or they would have to license it, or they would have to come up with some type of deal to collab with Shudder. So I don't know that what they would have, what the protocol would have to be for them to be able to get that, um, to get licensed to that. Because I do agree that Chucky would do well on Shudder. I remember when they put it up there, I was watching it because I didn't, it wasn't coming up on Peacock at the time. So there's that. But anyway, so we are at the end of today's show. Thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I will definitely be back tomorrow. So if you have not already, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. And if you have not already, smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Definitely helps with the algorithm. I'm trying to hit 2K by the end of the year. So we didn't get to do it in December, but I have noticed that people have been subscribing. So thank you all for that. But yeah, I'm trying to hit, this is the little show that could. 2K is a big deal. I know it may not be a big deal to a lot of people, but yeah, when it's been a year that I've been putting so much into building this channel, every little subscription definitely helps and all that good stuff. So I definitely appreciate all of you who be in the comments, who comment along with the live show. As I said earlier, I am going to put timestamps. I'm going to go through the entire episode once I'm done. Put some timestamps in. So that way you know when we go live, or not even live, but when you want to go and watch certain clips of the show so you can bypass all the rambling and stuff, the conversation that we have in the live chat. So love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, ciao, darlings.